Welcome back to Off the Console, the hottest new podcast. It's all about gaming, tech news, and anything nerdy. This week we're covering the biggest news, including the Triple Initiative, and we've got an interesting lineup for sure. Steam Deck prototype was auctioned off, and so we're gonna do a lot of speculating there and who's the famous person that bought that. And so that'll be fun, but. Our last episode was one of the it was one of the most viewed episodes of the podcast yet. We've been doing well, so thank you guys for following and watching and listening on the Fediverse or wherever else you listen to us, on whatever podcast or YouTube. You guys do to make this so much more fun. Okay,
you guys rock.
Yeah,
exactly. Today we have a special guest with us, Bill. Coming over after recording yesterday your podcast. Welcome.
do you want to be here? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. So we're gonna start off by what everyone's playing or doing, but could you also introduce yourself along with that, Bill?
Sure. I'm Bill. I host the Nerd Nest podcast as well as the Nerd Nest YouTube channel. I've been covering video game content for a really, really long time. Just recently started getting more into the PC side of things, and really been having a lot of fun making shows like this. I always say that YouTube is my favorite video game, so that's the game that I play the most.
I need to play that more.
Yeah,
I really do. I do like it.
I haven't fallen off the YouTube bandwagon recently, but hey.
You've been falling off it?
I've just had less time to do it because I've been playing more video games.
There you go.
Yeah, you have to pick one. You can either play games or you can talk about them. Doing both is really freaking hard.
Yeah.
unless you're a streamer that does both at the same time.
Yeah. I have a day job, so that ain't happening.
That's hard.
Yeah.
I did do streaming for a little bit, especially.
Yeah.
That one's a hard one. It's fun, but draining.
Yeah, but a lot of people say that oh, it's not a real job, or oh, it's not difficult, but it's a lot harder than you think. You got to be entertaining to be a successful streamer, and also actually, you don't even need to be good at video games. You just need to be entertaining while you're.
You need to be
video
entertaining
games.
and have a brand. It's because it's a low entry, kind of low entry job or a low entry career. You have to work your ass off.
Yeah,
people don't understand that.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think I can do it because when I'm playing a video game, I get really into it and I just kind of forget about chat.
Yeah.
With a good enough therapist, I think I could do it. I think I could do it. I've tried it. It's just, it gets a little overwhelming after a while of just sitting there nonstop and just questioning existence of, I don't want to play video games right now, even though I love playing video games. I want to just play this video game in private.
Yes.
Yeah, and also the backseat gamers, man, that's got to be the worst.
It's not too bad. Depends on who you are. But yeah, sometimes they'll spoil things. Are you playing anything fun or doing anything, Bill?
I have been playing... I don't know how much you guys want me to talk about this because I am currently obsessed with Monster Hunter Wilds. I cannot stop playing it. I'm a huge Monster Hunter fan. I played Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate I think might have been the first one that I played. And then I also played Monster Hunter World, Monster Hunter Rise, and then this is my fourth one. And I absolutely love what they've done with Monster Hunter Wilds. Have any of you guys been playing Monster Hunter?
The last one I played was Generations Ultimate.
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago, yeah. But I've played them since the PSP era. I've played the one on PSP, and let me tell you, you got to play with a claw grip, and it's kind of miserable because you have to use the D-pad. You have to use the D-pad to move the camera around. It's kind of insane, but I made it work somehow. I don't know if I can do it today though.
Yeah, well, with the new one, you don't have to do that. It has traditional controls, and the thing that I like most about it is you have a mount, and in old Monster Hunter games, what would happen is you would damage the monster enough, and he'd be like, Jesus, this guy's an asshole. I got to get out of here. And he would run off, right? And then you got to go chasing him, which is fine because, you're hunting this thing. You're trying to track it down. It makes sense. But that artificially dragged out how long these boss fights are for a really long time. And in the new one, you just call your mount, you hop on, you tell the mount, track it down, and then all of the other things that you would normally do when playing the game, you just do while the mount is taking you to the next fight area. And it's really great.
I mean, traditionally the case though, when you when you learn a monster's pattern, you can set traps accordingly in accordance to like how they move around. So like when you learn how a monster moves, and when they try to run away, they might trigger the trap instead, which means you could kill them on the same screen if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a filthy casual. I'm not hardcore, so.
Fair enough.
I'll sit there and play that game too much. I've played games like it, and I've played past versions of it, you know, and so I can't. I'll get addicted.
It's an addictive loop. It really is.
It really is. It's the same reason why Balatro is fun, and I play it up to a certain point. But if I get too serious about that, I will lose my day.
Oh man, speaking of Balatro, I restarted the journey to get to 100%. I started it back up again. Yeah. So I've been,
for context, he's been doing this for how many months now? 3 or 4 months, and it's like every episode. He's
like almost half
looking...
a year, like almost half a year to be honest. I'm trying to 100% the game. I'm trying to beat the game with all the decks in gold stake difficulty. B beat the game with every Joker on gold stake difficulty.
See, you should be streaming that, honestly. That's the type of stuff. If you're going to do initiatives like that, you pay off by streaming it.
Well, and that'll make you do it, too.
Yeah, that is true. But at the same time, though, it may not be a good idea because of a topic we're going to talk about later in the video. It's no spoilers.
Okay.
But aside from that, though, I've also been playing Rise of the Ronin again.
Is that the Ninja Turtles one?
No, it's not. No, it's the one by Tecmo Koei. It's like open world. It's an open world like game, like based right before the Meiji Restoration.
What?
Well, there is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The Last Ronin is a movie that's coming out. Apparently, that's why I was confused. Sorry about that.
All good, dude.
Okay. That's anything else you're doing high tech?
Thinking about what videos I should be making.
Yeah, what? That is such a good question.
Yeah.
It's kind of that time. Like we need some Valve to drop some good stuff. Some good
Steam Deck 2 announcement, please.
I'd take a Steam Deck 2
I don't think that's happening
announcement
for a year at least. What'd you say, Gardner?
I was gonna say I could take a Steam Deck 2 announcement right now.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Please.
I take SteamOS updates, like
good
anything. Ones, like really good ones.
Yeah.
This month, it's coming this month, because they said that it's coming before the Lenovo Legion Go S Steam Edition ships in May, right? So it's got to be this month.
Yeah, it will be limited though. It's going to be, they're in alpha right now of the next version. So I wouldn't like if you're planning on using SteamOS for like an NVIDIA GPU, like good luck with that. I had too much issues with doing it through, not with SteamOS, but with Bazite, and I gave up on that.
I ran into the exact same problem. The TV that I've got just over there has a computer hooked up to it, and that computer has an NVIDIA GPU. And I tried installing Bazite on it, and it worked flawlessly. And then the next time that I rebooted, black screen. I couldn't do anything. So I ended up having to wipe it and go back to Windows, which is unfortunate. And I know somebody's going to be like, well, Bill, you could try this distro and this distro and this distro. I don't want to learn all that stuff. I just wanted to turn it on and not have to think.
You know, the thing is with alternative, like if you go with like Bazite for NVIDIA, it's not on Bazite to make the SteamOS launcher like show up in full, in big picture mode. That's the word I'm looking for. Like big picture mode like works, but it doesn't the overall thing doesn't work like as SteamOS does, where it has like the separate session, right, that has just big picture mode, full screen exclusive. And it's not Bazite's fault. That's on Valve to fix. So there's a lot of like weirdness. I have a NVIDIA GPU on my living room PC, and I have issues, like the same kind of issues. So
is it on Valve or is it on NVIDIA?
it's on Valve. Well, yeah, I mean, it is on NVIDIA to some degree, because they don't really do things a standard way on Linux, which is really annoying.
Well, I haven't had the black screen issue. Now, you can't let it sleep. Like, if you let it sleep, at least with my 3090, and you bring it back up, big picture mode, or however Bazite does it, it will just get all screwed up, like artifacty. Not that it is weird, but
yikes.
If you turn it off and turn it on every time, mine worked. It's just if I was playing games like It Takes Two with my son, and it'd crash. It'd crash and then it worked fine on even running it on Mac OS with what is it? It's not Crossover, or on Windows, but for some reason Bazite and those NVIDIA drivers, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not just Bazite though. I mean, I have Ubuntu on this machine.
Yeah, it's NVIDIA.
NVIDIA. It's all NVIDIA.
I'm not meaning to like throw Bazite under the bus. I'm just letting people know, because that's an easy. The cool thing about Bazite and SteamOS, it's an easy way for normies or people that aren't as typical to go into the Linux world to get into it, right? And so if they have bad experiences, it kind of sours at like Bill's experience.
Yeah, and I'm a normie. I don't know anything about Linux. Like,
it's okay, you can curse.
Okay, I was sure. I said assholes earlier, and I was like, "Oh no, what did I do?"
But yeah, man, I fucking hate NVIDIA, and I think we've said this a number of times in this podcast for a number of different reasons too. And like, can we really trust NVIDIA though? They removed PhysX 32-bit support from the 50 series cards.
Yeah. No,
I don't know. For years, NVIDIA was my go-to, because I used to be a streamer, and they had that chip on the 2070 cards and up that would you could use as an encoder chip to encode your stream, and it wouldn't be using your PC, and it just made everything so much easier.
Yeah, like,
but now I don't stream anymore, so what do I care? Even if I was streaming, I just stream from my Mac.
I think AMD now has an equivalent chip, because I know, I think you're talking about the NVEC encoder, right?
Yeah. And maybe they do, but I don't stream anymore, so it doesn't affect me.
Yeah, fair
I mean,
enough.
you can use it also for rendering your videos too. And even like Intel CPUs have that kind of hardware, like dedicated ASIC for that kind of stuff. So
yeah.
They didn't when I did that.
No, not yeah. It's a more recent thing, but
now it's a big deal that a lot of them have it now, and so if not all, of them, right? All at least main bigger one.
I've heard that.
CPUs.
I've heard that a good
GPUs.
idea if you're like if you're going into streaming, is to have your dedicated gaming GPU, and then maybe have one of those new Intel GPUs for AV1 encoding as well, separately. And I've heard that's a good setup. But I don't.
Honestly, I think a better setup would be get the cheapest Mac Mini you can find and have that be your encoder, and then you can just play on your regular PC, because the M series chips are just stupidly good.
I am curious.
Good at video.
Yeah, I am really curious about support for capture cards and the Macs on the Macs, because I have a couple of
they're fairly
capture
decent.
cards.
If it's a mainstream, I'm going to be trying it out some more, because going into my update, guess what I bought over the week? I'm successfully turning into Mac Revealed channel now.
Oh my, Mac Revealed.
The tariffs scared the shit out of me, to where I'm like, I want to get a Mac Studio this year, or like a MacBook. Couldn't decide, and I wanted it to be enough to where I could do my game development on it and be beefy, so I went ahead and bought a Mac Studio.
Ooh.
I got the M3 Ultra. It was really pricey.
M3. Oh wow. Why not M4?
So M4. So because the way they do the fusion chips, to get the higher end Mac Studio, they do M3s that are fused together, so they have two to get the higher core count and higher bandwidth, actually memory bandwidth. And so, yeah, it's really bizarre. I don't think they have it baked into the M4, so they had to redo the M3 chip. I'm getting really into the.
Yeah. I get what you're saying though. Yeah, they don't have an M4 Ultra.
They don't have that. So I got the M3. I got the like pricier one with 96 gigs of RAM, which is nice. I'm excited. Oh, I've been using it, and I can have my games up, and I don't have to close down my game that I'm working on, and it's just great. It's a great time. I'm loving it.
Very cool.
Games on it are pretty decent. Like Crossover does a good job of like it uses Proton and Wine to do emulation. It also uses bottles. I think it uses bottles under the hood. If you've ever used done some type of Linux, is it called just bottles on Linux? I can't remember. But
Bottles.
Yeah, it's bottles on Linux. You can also use it on your Steam Deck as well.
Yep. And no, I've done, that's where I've done a lot of that using bottles, and so it uses bottles to facilitate like different games or like environments, right? And setting up the environment virtually, and it's working great so far. I'm gonna have some fun with my 3090 because I'm gonna set it up in such a way to where I'm gonna try really hard to make it so it doesn't lag, but I want to be able to use it between my Mac Studio and my TV out there. So I'm exploring a lot of different options with that. So I'm gonna have a fun year this year with just screwing around with my Windows machine and being able to play the more spicier games on it. So I'm just honestly, my room's not overheating. This 3090, I could probably render all day and my room wouldn't heat up. It's such an efficient chip. So there's a bunch of reasons. I know I'm just. I don't mean to be a fanboy. I used to not like Apple that much, but I fully dove into that sphere for productivity reasons. So
Nice.
I will try not to mention in the future as much. Gardner, what have you been up to?
So in terms of games, I haven't been playing a lot, but I have been diving deep into Connections, the New York Times stupid game, and today really pissed me off. You probably can't see that.
No.
It's
Wait.
working out.
Yeah, whatever. Today's was really annoying. It's a word puzzle game. I play it with Emily, my girlfriend, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Oh, it's that one.
Yeah, it's the one where there's a grid of 4x4 words, and you have to find the words that pair together. It's kind of fun. I've also been playing GameCube. If you can't tell, I've got my GameCube controllers over here. I got an SD to SB2 adapter, which lets me dump my collection of games onto an SD card, which is plugged into the SB2 port, the serial port 2 on there. So it's pretty neat, and it works really well with Swiss. So you can launch your games really quickly. And I've actually been playing so much GameCube, I'm thinking about getting a mod chip for it, because I have to keep my action replay in the disk drive in order to launch the games. So I'm thinking I might just go with a mod chip and then not have to worry about the action replay.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's where I go.
Are you gonna get the Switch to GameCube controllers?
Man, I've looked at those, and I love the GameCube controller, but they're impractical to play modern games with unless they're designed for the GameCube controllers. So unless the analog sticks are clickable, and I don't think I'm going to get one.
I mean, they might be. They have a lot of the extra buttons that you wouldn't see on an actual GameCube controller. They have.
True.
They have what was it, whatever L1 is on Nintendo's devices.
Yeah, it would be like a Z1.
Yeah,
or ZL. Whatever.
They
ZL.
have that, so I'm sure at the very least they'll have clickable sticks. But I don't know. It's Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean they didn't add clickable sticks to the N64 controller, so I mean they might not. That might not have been possible, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I do
That'll
love
be-
the GameCube controller though.
Yeah, that'd be definitely a welcome addition if you're going to use it for other purposes. Okay. Anything else? Anything else, guys? Like, no surprise, amazing thing that happened this week? Okay. Well, I can tell you right now, one thing was that, like we mentioned earlier, the podcast, especially on the Fediverse, has been doing really well. And that's thanks to you guys subscribing. So make sure to subscribe on YouTube, follow our RSS feed. I'll throw some stuff up on the screen so you can, I don't have to read everything out, but you can also engage with us on the Fediverse, comment through it on things on the Fediverse. If you don't know what the Fediverse is, go Google it. It's a really cool piece of, I guess, tech, or,
It's a protocol.
Well, yeah, that makes it easier for us to communicate and have it be more decentralized in a way. So
Yeah.
okay.
The one thing about that, because we mentioned that last week was really good. So 2 weeks ago we had 2,620 downloads from the podcast, the audio feed, and last week we had 2,220 downloads. So it was almost the number one. Last week was almost number one, and the week before that was number one, which is pretty cool.
Okay, we gotta pump those numbers up.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You gotta punish Gardner's server. Like, it's all being hosted on his server. You gotta punish it.
Oh,
We
you
gotta
host
get in the
this
terabytes.
yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so much work.
It's there's a great app that does it, that handles
okay.
most of it for me. So
It's just-
but it is like a bandwidth thing. So if you guys want to like make this cost me a lot of money, go download the episodes.
Yeah, if you hate Gardner, just watch the podcast.
Yeah, listen to the podcast if you hate me, because that'll cost me money.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Last episode had over 2 terabytes of downloads.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Jesus.
All right. Switch to mono, you guys.
We are mono. I gave
okay.
High Tech so much crap one time because he uploaded a stereo version at like 192 kilobits. Do you remember that, High Tech?
Yeah, I think that was like 1 or 2 gigs.
Yeah, it was huge. It was like 300 or 400 megabytes, and normally it's like 50. So I was like, we got to make sure we do this right.
Yeah, the file sizes are like between 40 and 60 megabytes.
40 and 60 megabytes now. Yeah.
Oh my God! So you guys, the people who watch this on the Fediverse are going to be very angry with me because I upload the audio show goes to Patreon, and I put video on both Spotify for my show, both on Spotify and YouTube, and the file sizes are just stupid high, ridiculously high. I could not imagine hosting that kind of thing. Audio, I could probably figure that out. But I just can't be bothered to use a decentralized thing or to roll my own.
Well,
It just seems like too much work.
Fediverse is a little different, more for discovery and communicating, right? Like
Yeah.
it's the type of protocol.
Yeah, like
where
that.
RSS feeds, to host a podcast is really easy. Technically.
Right, I used to do it. I used to do an RSS only podcast, but then Spotify just does it all for me, so I don't have to. And they're not. That's centralized. That sucks. It's bad. I shouldn't use them.
You know how their interface works. Gardner has some open source software that he installed on one of his
Servers
or whatever. That allows to do pretty much the same thing. I'd actually say it has a little bit more options, but it also includes the Fediverse. So
It's pretty neat. It's
neat.
called Castopod. It ties into the Fediverse and it creates RSS feeds, and it also handles distributing it to the various other platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify and stuff. So it's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a huge geek about this stuff.
I know you are, and that's what I really. I mean, somebody has to be.
Yeah.
Make the Fox do it. The Fox should probably know how to do this.
That's okay. I don't want to have to ask anybody to do anything. I just handle it all myself because, and I am a customer of the big company apparently, and I'm okay with that, even though I shouldn't be.
I mean, it is your choice at the end of the day. Also, by the way, Bill runs a pretty cool podcast as well. I've listened to a couple of the episodes, and they have a very stacked cast. Some of whom have shown up on here.
All of them have now, right?
Yeah, all of them,
Yeah.
except for
Yeah.
Cryobite.
Oh, right, yep.
Cryobite's doing all right, man. I spoke with him on Discord the other day, and he's doing all right. I guess the only issue, Lots going on with him, though. Still working 80-hour weeks, which is crazy to me.
Been there, done that. Don't want to do that ever again.
Mm.
What is he? Is he an engineer?
I think he's in IT.
Or he's an IT, okay.
I'd have to double check, to be honest. So, he's one of those.
Well, before you double check, let's get into our first topic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we had fun punishing Gardner with all the downloads and all that, and we'll hopefully punish him even more this time. Like we need to have like a punish meter or something like that for you, Gardner. Like to make it like gamified, to make it really fun.
Yeah.
Like how far can you punish Gardner? But
Glutton for punishment.
Yeah.
if you're into the like indie or AA scene, I feel like that's more. Even though this is a III, like I feel like there's a lot of indie games in this, but the III initiative just happened this. Did it happen this week?
It did happen this
Yeah.
week. It was on Thursday.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't watch it. I ended up being really busy in order to watch it, but I am going to share my screen now.
I like this one. This one seems like vaguely interesting. It's being developed by the guy that did the pixel art for Celeste, which it does have really nice pixel art. And the
Yeah.
music's being done by Disaster Piece, who did the music for Hyper Light Drifter, if you guys played that.
Hyper Light Drifter was my favorite game that year.
It's really
I
good.
really like the color palette of this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This-
it's very muted, and I like it.
It
Yeah.
reminds me of like playing games on my EGA back in the day.
Yeah, I was gonna say it has kind of a retro PC feel, but tempered, right? Like the retro, like the EGA graphics palette was like harsh, and this is a little more mellow.
Mm-hmm.
I dig this one.
Yeah.
What
tell
is
you-
this one? I didn't see
It's
what they
called
called it.
Neverway.
Yeah.
Neverway. There it
Neverway,
is.
okay.
Wish list now. So, what I should mention, if you wish list on Steam, it actually helps developers in the Steam algorithm. So,
Yes,
if
it
you
does.
really want to support a developer, that's the best way to do it outside of pre-ordering, I guess.
Have you guys played Deep Rock Galactic?
Yeah, that
I
game's fantastic.
have not, to
It's
be honest.
really fun. We'll have to do a team building exercise for the podcast sometime. That could be that'd be a fun special stream or something like that, is to play this while we chat about something. But I don't know about necessarily Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core, but all the previous are the original Deep Rock Galactic is just fun as can be.
Oh, I tried the demo for Deep Rock Galactic Survivors though during like one of the next fests, like not the last one, but the one before that, I think.
Yeah, but that's a very different game because it's a survivors. It's like a vampire survivor kind of style.
True.
Where this Deep Rock Galactic is originally a mining game. If you yearn for the mines, like you go for this. If you want to upgrade from Minecraft, you go for this game because you get to be a dwarf. You get to be a badass dwarf that gets to mine through and escape big baddies and also take them on. It is really fun. It's a really fun cooperative game. I love these types of games. It's up to like 4-player cooperative, and so this looks like what.
And if you really like dwarves, you can upgrade the Dwarf Fortress afterwards.
That's true. Who was the dwarf master here? Was it?
It was either you or Gardner, because I was the ninja
I know.
master here.
Yeah, you were the. I can't remember if it was me or Gardner, but that's funny.
Yeah, so-
I think it was Gardner.
So what happened? It was during the Steam. Can you pause this for a second? So what happened during the last year in review for Steam? I had 6.
Oh, yeah.
It tells you your 6 most played genres of games or like Steam tags or whatever, and one of them was ninjas.
right.
Now Gardner's was sports, and you were dwarf.
Yes.
It might have been dwarf, and I played one dwarf, and it was like Deep Rock Galactic, but I only played it for like an hour that year, even though I played it a lot the previous year. It's
I don't know. It's a good year.
their algorithm's funny.
I don't know.
Gardner,
2025. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
was yours most played sports because of Doodlings?
Yes.
Oh, that's what I
Yeah.
thought. I was like, was he over there playing PGA or is it because of Doodlings?
Yeah. It was Tiger Woods 2025 or whatever.
Right.
Oh yeah, you should talk about how Bill's also in Doodlings too.
Oh yeah, dude. Bill is one of the announcers in Dudelings. He graciously provided, like, I think the best voiceover, at least compared to me and Emily.
It was so fun. If you ever make more games and you need a voice, I freaking loved doing that. It was so fun.
That's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear that.
Bill sounds like a legit sportscaster. Like
Yeah,
he should be at ESPN right now, not in our podcast.
Yeah,
I don't know anything
Esports
about
at ESPN.
sports.
Esports.
Esports.
Oh, look at him. Oh, he got the ball over to the thing. Great job.
that's why you were so good at my game, because it was kind of just making fun of like the artifice of
Yeah.
sports.
Yeah.
See,
awesome.
I'd watch it for that. I'm not a fan of sports, but
Yeah.
Dude,
unless
if
it's
Bill
playing
just
it.
invented his own sport, he could be the sportscaster.
That's
He'd be
right.
legendary.
Absolutely.
Instead of Madden, it'd be Bill.
Just Bill.
Bill 2028 or something like that. See.
Call it Bill Ball.
All right. Yeah.
Well, okay, Tears of Metal.
So when I first saw this, my initial reaction is this looks like Dynasty Warriors, and I freaking love Muso games, and that's what I got from this. Where like you're just running up and you are attacking and you're knocking down 38 guys with one swing of your sword, mixed in with roguelike elements. It looks like from what you're picking up.
It
That looks cool.
certainly looks like it. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned Dynasty Warriors, that's a good one. Oh, open beta is available now in case you guys want to play it.
Nice.
It
That's
ends on the
always nice.
17th.
Definitely, I love the style of that last one. But yeah,
And this one is Sacrifier. I looked into it because I wasn't sure what kind of game this was, but it's a JRPG.
Hmm. I kind of love this like 2D, 3D mashup art style, like the pixel art meets 3D kind of thing.
Yeah, like what Square's been doing since like the Switch one. Yeah, that is
Yeah.
good art style.
yeah. If you're gonna, you got to differentiate yourself out there. You got to show that that there's a reason to play, that it doesn't look the same, right? And I like the way that some of these more indie style games are going, because it definitely looks fun. It actually is. I like JRPGs, but they've been feeling very samey lately, and so.
Well, they all try to harken back to like Chrono Trigger, and that's the one that they always mention. I know.
Well, that or if it's a full 3D, they try to look like Final Fantasy, and I'm like, I have Final Fantasy. In fact, I'm sick of Final Fantasy because they're not really evolving like they used to.
Endless. What is this? Endless Legend 2? I'm not
Yeah.
really an RTS kind of guy. I know this sounds like blasphemy because Gardner is,
Yes.
but
Oh, we all have our different play styles.
yeah.
Yeah. This one looks kind of neat to me, honestly. I'm more into like the sci-fi
Same.
or the modern day, but kind of retro ones I'm not into. Or like fantasy. I didn't really care for any of the Warcraft RTSs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really?
Warcraft.
Yeah.
Did you play
was-
3?
I did. I didn't really care for that
Oh, okay,
either.
because I loved what they did with the hero units. I think it made it completely changed how you play RTS games, and I really, really liked it.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's how Dota was born.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah. I'm more of a diehard Command and Conquer fan. Like,
What about StarCraft?
nah. I don't really like Blizzard games. Like, I've never played a Blizzard game that I liked.
StarCraft.
Which I know is
one of
blasphemy.
my favorites.
I knew a guy that played StarCraft at a high level in high school. He was Korean. He was a Korean exchange student. And it sounds kind of racist, but it was true. He was actually really good at StarCraft, and he taught me how to play a little bit, but I'm not good at StarCraft.
Yeah, StarCraft's fun. I got the Diamond League. It's really hard to like if you take a break after getting up into the higher tiers, then you're pretty much screwed because the strategies change like month to month almost.
I do like 4X games where like they're all turn based and not real time strategy.
Those are fun too, but those are time sucks for me. I can't play them.
every time I see one of those, I think this looks like the kind of game that I want to like, and then I get it, and I play it for a little bit, and then I never turn it back on again. And it's not because it's a bad game. It's just they never hook me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the hook, man. You gotta have
I
the
like 4X games, but I really like Civilization 6. Like that was super fun, and I've been meaning to get into Civ 7. But I can tell you right now, I prefer games like Rise of Nations, which is a real-time 4X, right? Like
Rise of Nations is a good one.
Oh,
I've
Dude.
never played it.
Rise of Nations is one of my favorite games ever made to this day. I love it. It's real time, and it's real time Civilization is essentially, and it's super fun.
Yeah.
Kind of like Age of Empires, but they had like it was very much like Age of Empires, right?
Yeah, but it went much further into like contemporary and even into like future kind of speculative stuff.
Right. Even their art had like steampunk like gears and stuff on it, right? Am I remembering the right game?
Yep. It was very like brass, bronze, gold kind of like mechanical stuff. And then they did Rise of Legends. Did you ever play Rise of Legends? The same studio.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
it was more fantasy based.
It was fantasy, but it was like H.G. Wells fantasy stuff. It was so cool, and it's almost impossible to play now because of like the weird like Microsoft dependencies that they needed. But I have a copy of it, and I've been meaning to like get it running in bottles and making a video about it because I love it so much.
Did you ever play Total Annihilation? The last little bit on this.
No, I don't think I have.
Total Annihilation. Oh. Go look it up. It's a very different. It's a hero RTS essentially, but it is very different. Loved the game, and there's a lot of different games that it's like a massive world RTS that had nukes, and they're all robotics, and it was a really fun game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is this game here?
This is Frostrail, and honestly, this is actually a game I might pick up. I like survival games, and bringing it into a train that travels around looks awesome.
You know what this kind of reminds me of? It kind of reminds me of Snowpiercer, the movie with Chris Evans in it. That was directed by Bong Joon-ho. Have you seen it, Bill?
The Train Piercer or Snow Piercer?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good movie.
Yeah, and I hear Mickey 17's really good too. I should probably watch that.
Oh, Mickey 17's so good.
I just got a notification that that's already on streaming because it did so terrible at the box office.
Mm-hmm.
Which I've heard good things about it, but I've also heard that the trailer is not very indicative of what, like the trailer makes it seem like an action movie, and it is not an action movie.
It's Bong Joon-ho, yeah. I don't think
there's
action.
There's so much to it. I watched it in theaters. I actually loved it, but it's still kind of my idea for my game that I'm doing. So,
Those
like 3D print, like you essentially, you store the consciousness essentially, like and sync it up, and then every time he dies, because he like you have to watch the movie, but he's there to be expendable, but they can reprint him so he can keep on doing the dangerous stuff, and that's kind of the route I'm going with my game. And so
kind of like Alters.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bong Joon-ho's movies are oftentimes about classism and like the difference between upper and lower class. And I mean, Parasite's like the textbook definition of that. And, and also Snowpiercer too, a little bit.
No, well, this Mickey 17 definitely has the classism in it. It's got it definitely feels like it makes fun of politicians almost nowadays in some form or fashion. So if you like that,
it's a really easy target, to be fair.
It's really easy, and that's kind of how they do it. So I definitely recommend watching it. I loved it though, but I'm a big sci-fi fan, and this is I'll say right now, Frostrail is definitely going on my wish list because I love what's going on here. It looks right up my alley. I love survival games like this. It's like Choo Choo Charles, but like,
not horror, but like
not horror,
not eldritch horror.
Elder Scrolls. Choo Charles was actually a fun game to stream, at least.
Frost
Let's see.
Rail.
So,
All right.
you know what?
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Go ahead. You know,
No,
talk
no, no.
about this one.
I was gonna talk about how this is Moonlighter 2.
Oh yeah. You know what game on this list I'm excited about is Speedrunners 2, the King of
Yes!
Speed. Yeah.
If I could show you my screen, it's the top of my list.
Yes, it is mine as well.
I have not played the original Speedrunners.
Oh man, you're missing out. My kind of games are simple arcadey party games and RTSs, and Speedrunners is a party game to its core. So if you like having people over and playing like a local multiplayer party game, it's very, very exciting.
Usually,
Yes.
usually the party games I play when people are over are Mario Party. That's the main reason why I still have a Switch for Mario Party Jamboree. And let me tell you, some people say the Switch, some people say the Steam Deck can really emulate the Switch, and yes, but I would never play Mario Party on a emulated setup, like any of the new ones. I mean, and
Have you tried syncing? Actually, can you even do that? Can you sync the Switch controllers?
I think you can.
Yeah, they're compatible.
Yeah,
I don't know if they have all the features though.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
either.
what I'm worried about too, and I don't think I would even bother trying, to be honest.
But if you haven't tried Speedrunners, Speedrunners 2 is going to be fantastic. Think Mario Kart as a side scroller. That's what that game is.
It's
and it is
around the
incredibly
40-minute
fun.
mark, James.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have
I get
channels
there.
now on the stream, so you can
Well, yeah, there's channels, but I don't know how to do. Because I'm
Here it is
embedded.
right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
speedrunners
It is so
too.
it is so fun. So yeah, you're running and you got to pick up weapons and you can use the weapons to attack the other people. And as you're running, at least in the first one, the space that you're running in gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and whoever is the furthest back gets cut off, and they get left behind. And your job is to go through the same loop a billion times until you're the only one left.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it really is. You're just running in a loop, and there's sometimes shortcuts you can take, and you need to get ahead of everybody else because you'll get, cut off the screen, like Bill was saying. And it's just so much fun, and like that, like where the screen is closing in on you. And so if you got 4 people and they're all running at the same time and it's just super competitive and it's so close, that's the kind of atmosphere that I love to be in. It's just with tons of people around screaming and competing. It's great.
So there's one thing
It looked really fun.
Yeah, it does look fun. So there's one thing I do want to talk about in
Wishlist
regards to indie games, and that's indie publishers. So one of the games on the list is Opus Prism Peak, and it's being developed by an indie studio, but it's being published by Shueisha Publishing. And if you're not familiar with who they are, Shueisha is a massive company in Japan, and they run like Shonen Jump. They own the rights to like Dragon Ball Z and Bleach and Naruto and One Piece and all of those. So they're a huge company publishing indie games. I'm wondering what everyone's thoughts are on like big indie publishers.
I guess it doesn't. I don't care who the publisher is as long as I get to play the game. And maybe that's naive of me, but if it's a game that is interesting, then the publisher is like I care about the developer. The publisher is just who's paying for stuff. So to me, I don't really care.
James, a lot of the stream is just the post show. So most of it is an hour within the first hour.
I don't even see it in the first one.
Sorry, that's the
there it
train.
is.
It looks like an intriguing game. Oh, and there's also Blaze Blue entry effect. It's interesting. Yeah, it's a pretty fun roguelike, and if you're a Blaze Blue fan, it has nothing to do with the games because the story is just its own thing. I mean, this game looks pretty interesting, though, to be honest. I'm not going to complain about indie publishers, but I do notice that there are more and more of them, and I do like what they're doing, though, to be honest. I do like that they fund these indie games to let them make the game of their dreams, I guess you could say.
I think with indie games, the appeal to me is that it's usually a singular vision, right? Like it's like an auteur game developer, and they get to put their passion on display and make a game that they would want to play and share that with the world. I love that about indie games. And there are some indie publishers that support that spirit as well. Like, I'm blanking. Adult Swim Games does it quite a bit, and so does Devolver, right? Big Mode.
New Blood.
I don't think I've heard of New Blood, but when it comes to when it comes to like AAA game publishers publishing games, or indies specifically, I mean, it's okay, I think, if they're like funding the development, but when it comes down to like where the money goes when the game goes on sale, if it doesn't mostly go to the indie studio, I think that really bothers me. Like, sure, like the publishers should recoup their losses or their investment, I guess, and maybe like a generous portion above their investment, but like after that, everything should go to the developer. I don't know. I just don't trust the publisher system.
Really hard because you kind of need a publisher system if you want to build bigger games.
Yeah.
And it also helps because what usually happens, like with certain game, I mean, what is it? I can't remember right now, but there's a couple of different games where, games where they started out, became very successful, and then they branch out and fund other indie studios, and then become big, and sometimes they, become like Google, do no evil. Now they just do evil, and so they do the opposite. But I do think we harp on publishers too much, but it's an easy target right now because they are essentially doing what every big business is doing, which is short-term gains in a destructive way and it destroys long-term, like IPs. There's a lot of IPs I'd love, like Dead Space. It does well. If they would budget that properly, they could keep on making money every year, and the studio would love to do that.
Yeah.
But no, well, maybe not make a game every year, but make games over years, and they'd be successful. And so they're trying to hit the biggest pot of gold and sacrificing all the way there, all the stuff that keeps them going. It's bizarre.
So I will say one of the biggest successes of this year was an indie game published by a big publisher. EA publishes all of Joseph Fares games, and he developed Split Fiction, which, from what I understand, has done really well, critically and commercially.
Split Fiction is awesome. I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, I mean,
but I've seen a ton of gameplay on it.
Yeah, and a lot of the bigger publishers are starting to fund indie adventures.
Yeah,
like EA, like I just mentioned, but also Square Enix too. They funded a game I really like called Little Goody Two Shoes, and it's a great game with a unique art style. It's a horror game. So, this is Deep Rock, the Survivor game that I tried out the other day, the other Next Fest. It was pretty fun.
I'd much rather play this than Vampire Survivors. It actually looks like a game I'd play. I just haven't got to it yet. Does it play good on the Steam Deck? Because this is one I'd play on the Steam Deck, hands down.
Last time I tried it played pretty well. The demo, I mean.
My barber plays video games, and every time I talk to him, he's always telling me how great this game is. And I've looked at it before. I've never bought it, but watching the trailer during the III video, I was like, okay, I think they finally sold me. Like, this game looks really fun.
The Survivor one or the other one?
You mean the original Deep Rock?
So,
I already played that. That game.
Okay, you've played the original
amazing.
one. Okay,
yes, yeah. That's a wonderful game. This one, I think they sold me on because it just looks like
Steam Deck right options. There. Oh,
it's that.
Damn it!
All right,
You never
so
know.
at the end of that like showcase, it said it was coming to Steam and Steam Deck specifically, which is
Yep.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows Steam Deck as its own like discrete platform, I guess,
Oh,
which
there it
is
is.
it's kind of interesting.
I think that's a way that they can coattail their way to, you look at everybody wants that check mark.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
not everyone
That's
deserves
essentially
it.
the same thing.
Yeah,
Well, that's true, but everybody wants it, and that's kind of the same thing, I think.
you can just press the left and right arrows to like fast forward a few seconds.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Look, coming to Steam Deck. That's what I like to see.
Same. I've
And
mentioned this time and time again. It needs to be the standard for like the low, like when they say like even for recommended maybe, but like the standard for even the lowest like that you should be able to play it on should be like the Steam Deck from now on for games that are for PC.
for sure. I think the highlight of the show for me though was Katana Zero, still getting its DLC, still in development. In many ways, this was the precursor to how Silksong, like, everyone's been waiting for Silksong. I've been waiting for the Katana Zero DLC. Have you guys played it?
I'm thinking we should have just watched this through. Instead
I
of
feel like
skipping.
I played Katana Zero on the Switch at some point, I think. And it's a side-scrolling melee combat, like Metroidvania style game, if I'm remembering correctly. Am I right on that?
No, it's level based, and you have the ability to slow down time to like better time your actions. And if you die, you go back, and it's one big drug allegory. I think it was.
I don't know what game I'm thinking of then.
Hmm.
It's a
around
good
the
game.
1 hour mark.
Yeah.
It's one of the
mark?
last ones before they start the
101.
post-show.
I think it was the last one. Yeah. Oh, Clover Pit's interesting though too. It's like a Balatro mixed with shotgun roulette. I think it was.
Hmm.
But yeah, they've
Okay.
they've been developing this DLC for quite some time. To be honest, ASCII Soft. I don't know if it's just one guy or if it's a team of people. But yeah, it's
How
still
long?
gonna be.
So how long? How
How
long
s-
have they been making in the works on this DLC?
Um,
Because this game came out like what 5 years ago or something like that.
it came out It came out 6 years ago. Yes, so
Okay.
I'm gonna assume it's been in development for 6 years now. When did Hollow Knight come out?
Hollow Knight was like 7 years ago.
Shit, man! I can't believe in the big 2025 we got news for both Silksong and Katana Zero DLC.
Mm.
Indie games are coming back, baby.
They never went away. What are you
I know.
talking about?
I'm just saying.
They've only been doing better. That's what makes them hard, though. That's what's so hard about indie games. And I have to skip so many because they look interesting, but there's too many.
Oh, there's so many.
There are truly too many.
And so I have to stick to my genre, which eating well, by the way, like indie horror does really well, and I love indie horror games.
Mm.
I really liked the first one. I think that one was a big surprise to me. How much that one looks interesting. How interesting that one looks. Oh, Vampire Survivors is getting a free update. It's getting a crossover with the Saga games, the like Romancing Saga and all that stuff from Square. I don't know. Man, I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of burned out on like Survivor likes, to be honest. I truly see a ton during the next fest, and it really I get it. I can choose to play those games and not play those demos, but like it really pisses me off when I see them. I don't know why.
Because they're easy in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that like Vampire Survivors, was easy to make. It's just once you see something and you clone it and you don't change it enough, it's just it's trying to capitalize on something that was super successful, and you can kind of tell it's just a kind of a clone. And if they don't do enough to change it, it just you'd rather see something else.
It's crazy how Vampire Survivors blew up the way it did, because I wouldn't have ever imagined Vampire Survivors getting fully animated trailers like this, like maybe even a few years ago. But hey, it is what it is.
Some of it has to do with Liam. Liam was such like gaming on Linux. He was such an advocate for the game. I think that like there was just like this um, groundswell around the Steam Deck, and Liam was kind of an influencer at that moment, and still is. But like, it really, I don't know. I think Liam had a lot to do with its success, which I love.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
Are there any other games we want to mention before we move on?
BlazBlue Entropy Effect is getting a Dead Cells crossover, which is kind of funny because the game is basically Dead Cells.
Hmm.
But that's you don't have to pull up the trailer. I just want to mention that.
No, it's okay. I'm looking through everything just to see.
It was before Opus, I believe. So it was like go back to like the 20-minute mark.
Oh, you want me to go to it?
Oh,
Okay.
no, I was just saying you were looking for
Entry
it.
Effect?
Yeah. It's based on the BlazBlue franchise, and it's probably the best-selling BlazBlue game because the BlazBlue games are like a series of really hardcore fighting games. And you'd have to be kind of crazy to be good at those games. I've played it a little bit. Typically pick the hardest characters to play fighting games. I don't know if you guys are really into fighting games, though, to be honest.
Street Fighter 6 is really fun, but other than that, Smash Brothers and ARMS are my favorite fighting games. Those are the ones that I like to play the most. And everybody hates ARMS, so
I liked ARMS. I mean, it's kind of silly saying that ARMS is like a super competitive fighting game, but like I liked ARMS.
oh no, I don't care if it's a competitive fighting game. I'm not going to compete with anybody. I'm a filthy casual.
I got called out, Bill, for being a casual too on my channel, so no worries.
Oh, they can call me out. I am a casual, and I will admit it. I don't have time to dedicate to a game to get good, and I'm fine with that.
Same.
I'm decent at first person shooters and like games like that are very competitive because I played so much Unreal Tournament growing up. I played so much. But
Are you as good as Elon? Apparently Elon Musk used to be a Quake god.
Funny enough, I probably could wipe the floor with him like on that game. But
yeah. But, so
oh well.
I don't have any further words on the AAA initiative. It's cool. They should keep doing it every year.
Yeah,
I think that they should do it every quarter because having a 4-hour stream makes it kind of hard to cover.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But if they did it every quarter, then like because I opened it up and I was like, holy cow, these guys gave me some homework to watch, and I did not watch the whole thing because it was just way too much. It's 4 hours.
I mean,
yeah,
the trailer portion
I would agree.
Only like the first hour, first hour and 20 minutes, to be honest.
I do, but I mean, there's how many games here in this list, right? Like, there's at least 35, right? Or I would say, I'm not counting, but if they did it every quarter and they just covered the games that were going to release this quarter, it would allow each of the like you'd break that up into like quarters. That list, it would be like 10 games, and then it would get spotlights on those 10 games rather than.
And those 10 games would do better.
Yes. Yep.
You know what I miss? I miss the ads.
Said no one ever.
And the hosts. No, hey, there could be good ads, but I agree. Like, these are the trailers are ads. That's what's kind of funny about this is that.
You know what the AAA initiative needs? It needs a solid 30 minutes on Hideo Kojima talking about his next game.
His new Strand type video game.
Oh my god.
Or the other one that no one knows anything about besides the fact that it has Hunter Schafer in it. Because I don't fucking know what that game's about.
Everybody gets mad at me. I have no love for Hideo Kojima. I've never played Metal Gear Solid. I don't care about Death Stranding or any of his nonsense. And every time he gets up on stage, and I feel like they're actively wasting my time.
Yeah.
Because he never says anything. He's like, I'm making a game and it's going to be weird. And everybody's like, oh, wow, what kind of game is he making? And then at the end of the 10 minutes that he's talking, you don't know any more than you did at the beginning.
Yes.
I felt that whenever a Death Stranding trailer dropped, and I didn't know what kind of game it was. So imagine my surprise when I found out it was a literal walking simulator. Like, it's really funny too, because you see gameplay of people dropping, like, they have these huge boxes on, like, their back, and they fall down a cliff, and all the boxes fall down. It's the funniest thing ever. But, like, I thought it would be, like, an action game. Like, no, don't get me wrong, there are, like, moments where you have to fight bosses and whatnot, but, like, I didn't expect it to be, like, a Amazon delivery sort of game.
And hey, people love it. If they love it, that's good for them. It's just not for me. And that's fine. Not everything has to be for me.
Did they have like a piss bottle DLC for it? If it's Amazon?
It's close enough. They have a deal with Monster on the PS5 where the main character drinks a shitload of Monster Energy.
Oh gosh.
Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding. Look it up.
What? Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is why I don't miss ads.
I mean, I don't think it's in the, like, newer versions of the game, but they used to have, like, product placement for Monster Energy it's like a fully modeled, like, Monster Energy can that he drinks out of.
By the way, this episode of Off the Console is brought to you by the Manscaped.
Get that smooth feel on your okay. So we watched a lot of really good trailers. I'm walking away with an amazing game that I am excited for now. But will I be owning it when I buy it? And that is our next topic. Ubisoft holds firm in the Crew lawsuit. You don't own your video games. So these are important lawsuits too, by the way. So high tech.
You will own nothing and you will be happy, says Ubisoft. So if you recall, it's Ubisoft versus two guys in California who bought the Crew. And Ubisoft says the plaintiffs have no real case due to a nebulous statute of limitations that isn't really defined at all. And that it's caused no real harm. Like, no one lost it. Like, no one was injured or hurt or lost their job or lost anything financially, so to speak. That's what Ubisoft says. But here's the thing, though. The plaintiffs provided photos of their package, which says that the activation code for the game does not expire until the year 2099. So Ubisoft really screwed the pooch on that one, printing that out.
I didn't know that. That makes me laugh.
Doesn't expire until 2099.
The code doesn't expire, not the game, obviously.
Yeah.
I wonder if they would have honored that if they had already delisted the game.
No.
No. They'll probably...
Well, I mean, so Valve will honor codes that have been for games that have been delisted, but that's Valve.
Yeah, that's
they
Valve.
can't do it for everything, because if it relies on a server, then Valve can't.
Right, that's true.
You know, for instance, Marvel Heroes, which was a game that was basically a Diablo-like in the Marvel universe, made by David Brevik, the creator of Diablo. That game was really great. And then when Disney bought Marvel, they shut it down. Right. But the thing is, Steam gave me my money back on that game. Ubisoft isn't willing to give if Ubisoft give these guys their money back, I'd be like, you know what? That's fine. Shut down your game and give the people their money back. No problem.
Yeah, so we should mention this. I think we talked about this a couple of months ago, but Valve did amend the process. They did add to their store that you're not technically owning these games, you're owning a license to play these games. So Valve is now upfront about the fact that you don't quote unquote own these games.
Though Valve only did that because they had to, because of a new California law.
That's correct. And these guys are from California, so that's why they're able to sue Ubisoft for this. Like, if they were from Virginia, they probably wouldn't have a case.
Yeah, so I hopefully, obviously, this is going to set precedents too. So this is good. That like the 2099, it's definitely going to make it so that games that we buy from here on out is going to probably be even more sketchy on what the agreements we have to agree to. So we'll see further on what kind of happens, but I really don't like this idea of paying money and not owning a game. I think ultimately, and I think I've talked about this before in the past, if a game's going to have an exit strategy of not allowing you to redeem a code, to do whatever, they need to host an area, like a section where you can redeem it, or if they let's say if it's an online game, they take it down to have the server code available. Everything to run it, they need to have an exit strategy, and it needs to be that is really something that needs to hopefully go to courts over to make it into like a precedence, and then or into a law. I don't plan on laws being made of this. It's just gonna have to be a precedence kind of thing.
Yeah, it's frustrating because it's like especially when there's a fun game that you love to play, and you played it like 10 years ago or something, you go back to try and play it again, and it doesn't work for whatever reason. It's like, I agree with you, James. It's like we should have like a culture in the gaming industry where it's expected that when you make a purchase, you'll be able to play it indefinitely on the machines that you actually, played it on. If it's Xbox, if it's PC, if it's Switch. And so I get really frustrated when I hear people say like, well, I don't expect to be able to play it like 10 years from now. It's like, that's you today saying that, but 10 years from now, you're going to want to go back and play those games maybe. And what do you can't just think about now. You have to think about the longevity of the products and services that you use. It's one of the reasons I don't like using cloud-based games, because they're not going to exist 10 years from now.
Like, how often do you sit there and you're like, you know what? I think I want to play this game from a long time ago. Like, I think James was just talking about Total Annihilation. I looked it up while he was talking about it. That's 1997, right?
Yep.
And like, here we are in 2025. It's 28 years since that game came out, and James is feeling nostalgic for it. If he couldn't play it because the servers have been shut down or something like that, then that is a loss of art. And I think it's important to preserve that art. But until people start electing people that understand how this stuff works, because the people who go into politics or who go into, judges, those people don't understand this technology. They have no understanding of this technology, which is why we've seen, politicians talk about the idea of the internet's just a series of tubes. I know that that's an old reference, but that's the kind of thing that they don't understand what they're making decisions about.
I just want to, I do want to preface this by saying that I am running for the presidency of the United States of America. I will make laws where video games have to be up forever, and everyone owns their games digitally, and microtransactions are banned forever. If you do it, I'll fine you $1 billion, $2 or $3 billion. It'll be great.
Wait, are you serious?
You got my
No, but maybe.
You have to show your face before you can run for president.
No, I can be a shadow.
Hold on, I gotta say this. This is so good. You'd look at the presidents before they were elected, and then after, at the end of their term, they're like, they aged like 40 freaking years.
Yeah.
High Tech would be the only one that looks the same.
I'm just that good at my job. It doesn't even stress me out a day.
Yeah. I mean, at the top of the show, I talked about Rise of Legends, right? And that's almost 20 years old. That game came out in 2006. And it's like, I have that sitting on my shelf out here, And if I set it up, I don't think you could actually play it on Windows right now, like on a modern version of Windows. But if I had a Windows XP machine with era appropriate hardware, I could play that game. You know,
Can you not do it through
and
Wine?
that's like, huh?
Could you not do it through Wine? I've heard Wine is very good with older games.
I've had issues running it through Wine, so I don't.
Typically pretty good.
Yeah, I think if you do, I think the only way I've been able to play it recently on Linux is with Lutris. Like there's a Lutris script that will get it set up for you. But it has like a bunch of, it's using a geophysics. Like it's not NVIDIA physics. It's
What?
like the precursor. Yeah.
That's a name
Yeah.
I
Like
haven't
before
heard.
it got, dude, I know, right? So, and it's using like a very, like that same weird version of DirectX that didn't get a lot of great support. Is it DirectX 10? One of them, I don't know.
I think it was 10, because I don't think I've heard very much fanfare about that, but I've heard quite a bit about DX11.
Yeah, DirectX 9 and DX11 are great, and DX 10 is...
That was during the Vista era.
Yes. So, this, I don't know. The thing is, though, like, you can play games that you own physically today, in most cases. But, you know, we're in an era now where stuff that young adults today were playing when they were kids that have gone offline and they can't play them anymore. And it's like, what kind of world are we allowing to be created when we lose control like that? Yeah.
You're losing creative works is what it is. You're losing art is really what it is. And that's in today's world where it's so easy to do preservation with real world art. Like we spend billions to preserve art. We need to start, and I know there's initiatives already, and I've talked to a few people about this, but we need to do a little bit better. Like let's just make these companies do some bare minimum. They need to have these extra strategies of, hey, if this is going to go offline, you got to include whether it be some source code or the server stuff, something to where we can more easily preserve it. And it's not a big ask. I can be a little bit more on the uncaring side too, because I don't usually go back and play games too often, but there are games I do. The thing is, a lot of the games I like to go back and play are very mainstream for those, like Half-Life. I'm not worried about Half-Life never being able to be played because Valve does a good job of making sure it's always available, right? Mm-hmm. Total Annihilation, funny enough, it's on Steam. You can play it. I have it.
Oh, nice.
So Steam does do, and if the game studios or the publishers or whoever owns the IP sometimes will also preserve it by uploading it or, adding it to Steam. And usually once it's a part of Steam, not every game will work, but you can usually find workarounds. But it would be nice to have a little bit, maybe a little bit more initiative on Steam's side to make sure things work, which
I mean,
Proton
doing
does
it.
help. What's that?
Yeah, it's 99 cents right now for the Total Annihilation Commander Pack.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, GOG is investing money in preserving games. I mean, it's in their wheelhouse, but I think Valve, with Proton, they're working towards that, especially trying to move the industry away from Windows. Like, that's a big deal.
The sooner that happens, the better, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mac OS all the way.
But yeah, I mean, I just looked it up because I hadn't heard of it for a while. But like, did you guys ever play Crush, Kill, and Destroy? KKND?
No.
You want to talk about an obscure old RTS game? KKND is basically like a Command and Conquer clone, and I played that when I was a little kid, and I was like, I was curious because like I haven't heard of it in a long time, but that's a game that I'd like to go back and visit. It's thankfully available on Steam right now, so I'm gonna get that. But if it, like you were saying, James, it's like if it's a game that's like obscure and it has been delisted or whatever, like how is anyone supposed to play these old games from their childhood? Especially when kids growing up today, 20 years from now, every game's going to be digital.
Well, yeah, and the games that the kids are playing today are Fortnite, Minecraft, Roblox, and
yeah, those will be
those
up in like
games. There's zero preservation that'll happen there.
Yeah.
so. One thing I do like this current recent trend is of people decompiling games and essentially recompiling them for modern systems, making them open source basically. And I mean, we saw this with the very recent Sonic Unleashed open source port, which is pretty insane to me that they managed to get that working. It's a great. I mean, that's probably the second best way to keep it preserved, or maybe even the first best way.
It takes a lot of work, and we've talked about this in the past. And I think Gardner's the one that brought it up. Like it or some, I think it was Gardner that brought it up that it's really hard. Like this does not work for every game, and you have to fine tune it almost for every game because there's a lot of dependencies.
Yeah,
and
like the Sonic fan base is extremely talented at doing many things. They're very notorious for many things. Chris Chan, but but when they really put their heads together and like actually make shit work, they can do it really well. There are very few fan bases as big as the Sonic fan base that can do stuff like this.
But it shouldn't be on the fan base to do it. The companies should do it, and that's never going to happen because listen, I'm not going to call out anybody's age on here. I think I'm probably the oldest guy on the panel. And when I grew up, the people who were in charge were the people who made the games. And now the people who are in charge are people who don't know anything about games. They're business executives that went to business school.
Ugh.
They're just, yeah, exactly. That's the problem. The people who are in charge are the wrong people, and you're never going to get that changed.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. That's why we like indie games, because oftentimes they're the ones running the ship, and they're the ones actually making the games more often than not. And yeah, to go back to like the indie publisher discussion we had, I mean, on one hand, deep down, I kind of think because when you think of indie games, you think of like a guy in his basement making a game in his free time. But when you think of indie publishers, it almost feels like it defeats the purpose. But as long as they're able to move the business side away from the creative side, I'm okay with it. And unfortunately, a lot of modern AAA games are designed where it's business first, game second. Like, microtransactions. Like, I think, have you guys played Shadow of Mordor?
Yeah,
a little bit.
Have you guys played the sequel, Shadow of War?
No.
At the beginning of it.
So
I haven't finished it.
One thing that really got people pissed off was because, like, towards the last third of the game, it became extremely grindy. But it so happened that WB graced us with the ability to buy microtransactions, which in turn makes the grind a little less unbearable. People hated it because it basically artificially extended the grind.
Yeah.
And like it's like one of the like they ended up removing it, and they ended up removing it and then also lessening the grind. Which, you know what that tells me? That tells me they inflated it so that they could sell microtransactions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like arcade level like deviousness. Like back in the day, arcade games were incredibly hard so they could suck more quarters out of you. And like that's kind of where the industry has originated and where it's headed. And that's why I like indie games, because they're generally made by people who have passion for what they're doing and the games that they're creating. And that's why I like open source most of the time, because these unpaid developers just have a passion and want to make the best software that they can, versus most of the proprietary stuff that you use out there where it's like they want to just find a way to nickel and dime you.
Let me, as somebody who does not make games, but talks a lot about the industry, there's something that I want to make sure that I understand, and maybe I'm wrong about this, especially as Gardner, you've made games, and James, I just found out that you make games too. Here's my question. If I'm making a game and I'm going to put it on Steam, I don't need a publisher, right?
No.
Right. I really only need a publisher if I'm going to put it on consoles, right?
I think even I looked into publishing my game on Xbox and PlayStation and even Switch, and I don't think you need a publisher to do that. you need a publishers are good for marketing your game, and handling a lot of the business stuff that you don't want to handle as a developer.
Well,
But yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I think
there's a lot of companies that will, if you're an indie, you can work with marketing companies that will do a lot of that. Publishers are there to fund you first and foremost,
Right.
and to help you. And like what Gardner said, then they also offer additional services like getting onto consoles and other things. Like, but you should be able to get onto the console. And I think 10 years ago, different story. Nowadays, they have a lot. Like they noticed, like Sony and Microsoft noticed that like indies can get really popular. They have a lot of initiatives to make it easier to get it onto the consoles.
Yeah,
Good to know.
I definitely remember back in the day, like during the PS2 era, that publishing games used to be really difficult. You basically had to have a publisher because you guys know the Behemoth.
Mm-hmm.
They made Castle Crashers, Alien Hominid. I remember they published Alien Hominid on like the GameCube and PS2 like back in the day, and they definitely had a publisher. They had to have one to get a physical copy.
Well, even in the Xbox Live Arcade era, like Microsoft required indies to have a publisher in order to be on Xbox, but that changed.
Valve had to have one. I'm sorry, I don't mean to keep like.
No, you're right.
Half-Life 2 had to they do not. It's interesting because they definitely don't like Sierra went under, and I think they were a little soured by that with Half-Life 1, and so that's interesting. They have publishers for consoles, not for Steam though.
I mean, I think Sierra going under. I think that might have inspired them to make Steam so that they could control that, and also the fact that updating games was kind of a pain in the ass back in the day. You had to download patches, and you had to confirm with your friends that you were on the latest patch. Yeah, and you also had to be careful not to download patches from sketchy websites, otherwise you would have gotten a virus.
Yep. Yeah. It had a purpose.
Yeah. Fuck Ubisoft, by the way. I should bring it back to topic.
You're gonna have to change your name to like just off the hate console or off the hate or something like that. I don't know, but
off the hate train.
Off the hate train, like poor Xbox or Microsoft that is, and Nintendo and Nvidia and Ubisoft. Man, they get the ire every week. Which, to be fair, they need to be called out.
They earned it by hiring these C-suite douchebags.
Yep. Yeah. Well, they've essentially destroyed their companies. They're in all these and what I get pissed off about is like, okay, cool. I want the company to go under, but I don't because then it hurts the developers. Like developers in the gaming industry, like I don't know if I could work for a game studio, in the AAA because, I already work in the software world and it's already a little chaotic with all the layoffs. And so it's always like a little nerve wracking, like, oh, is it going to be this time that layoffs happen to me? But, game devs have always had to deal with this. And so I am no fan of the way that these big game companies hire C-level execs that don't know what the shit they're talking about. Like they don't know what they're talking about.
I will say one thing that I think is really good. You're talking about a big company, Square Enix, the number of people that worked on Final Fantasy VII Remake, and then they moved forward to work on the sequel, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And it's the same. It's basically the same team. That's almost unheard of in the industry. A lot of times they'll just be like, all right, all you guys are out of here. We're going to bring in some new people and they're going to be working on this next thing. And they are keeping mostly the same people, which has a couple of benefits. Number one, it makes it easier for them to spin up things and get going faster because they're using the same tool set. They don't have to train the new people. But also, like, that's job security for those developers because they know, all right, I'm working on the next one. I mean, I assume we're going to have Final Fantasy VII re-release games for the rest of our lives because they're just going to keep milking that cow, which I'm fine with because I love those games. But Like that's one thing where I think that they're doing it right. If what I've read is accurate.
Yeah.
Japanese publishers, especially, are really good at that. Japanese publishers and developers, I think, do a fairly good job. They have a whole other but they have in some ways an opposite. They still have a lot of issues with like crunch over there. So they release too much.
The work-life balance is ridiculous, and like if I don't know if it's his fault or if it's like the company's fault, but what's the guy who works on Smash Brothers?
Masahiro Sakurai.
Yeah, Sakurai. Yeah, Sakurai. Like that dude just like works like he's almost dead, and he's still in there working on Smash Brothers, making sure that it's coded right, and like that stuff is crazy to me. Also, the fact that they sometimes send people to like rooms to just have them sit there in a white room with nothing to do until they finally quit instead of fire them. That's also not a great way to do things.
Oh,
Yeah,
damn,
I've heard about that
torture.
too. I don't know what to make of like Japanese work culture, because I hear a lot of the stuff too, but at the same time though, there's a lot of like crazy shit that happens in Japan. I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to pretend I feel like I fully understand it. I don't know. It's crazy.
They have a very certain parts of Asia, especially, but like South Korea and Japan have really out of balance work ethic. In the sense of like you kind of work yourself to death in some ways.
Yeah. And plus, nine times out of 10, you're probably working for Samsung because Samsung owns a lot of shit in South Korea. Like they also make a lot of military shit in South Korea too. I should mention.
Yeah. So,
sorry for the aside.
No, that is a very famous thing that we do here.
That's how this show rolls. Yeah.
That's why it's 2 hours long every episode.
So let's. I'm gonna steer this back on, and this is we've been talking about game preservation and a bunch of other things. This next article, this next topic, has got me honestly confused on what I want to see come from this type of thing, and that is an early prototype of the Steam Deck was sold on eBay in the last week, I believe.
Yeah.
And great ad. I'm not a fan of this, but High Tech, you're the one that posts this. Do you want to give us a little bit of a
I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what more can be said. It's a Steam Deck prototype. It was sold for $3,000, and we were speculating on which famous YouTuber bought this, because it certainly sounds like something Linus Tech Tips would buy. But at the same time, though, people were expecting to be Bringus because, well, Bringus has also been on the rise in terms of running Bazzite on whatever the fuck hardware he gets his hands on. We should ask him about that too, but it's an interesting little prototype. It's got circular trackpads, which honestly I kind of wish the current Steam Deck had, because the Steam controller has circular trackpads, and I really like those.
Yeah, Valve said that they went with the square trackpads because it actually gives you more real estate for your thumbs for the size of the trackpads.
I mean, it makes sense. You don't have corners in this one. You have an extra area where you can get corners and stuff. Also, it looks like one of the thumbsticks broke off, and also the thumbstick that's still on. It looks very different compared to what we have now, because what we have now is our touch capacitive thumbsticks where you can put your finger on, you can put your thumb on it, and it does something.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that. Like, if you zoom in on the broken thumbstick, it doesn't look like there's circuitry or wire or anything in there, which would lead me to believe that it's not touch sensitive, right? Like, have you taken apart the Steam Deck's joystick module?
Yeah.
Have anyone?
Oh, I've replaced
a
ton of them.
I did that. I did that for my Steam Deck OLED, my LCD, not my OLED just yet though.
Yeah. So it doesn't look like that material would be like capacitive in any way that's inside the broken stick there. So I'm curious if that was like a late addition to the Steam Deck, or Because if you look at the actual in that article, the last image at the bottom, it has like like Noah highlighted the revision that's part of the whole history there. Yeah.
To the left.
So you can see that's like the 13th before the final Steam Deck, right? So this seems like a fairly late edition. I don't know if they have every iteration of the hardware on this list, but it seems much closer to the final version than some of the other ones on this list.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm super curious about the ones with the black triangles on the side. That one right there.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that? What is going on there?
It's a prototype.
I know.
Well, so
what
some
about,
of these look
what about
like
the one that has the little handle on the side?
if you click on that, it'll bring it bigger.
Okay.
Yeah. So that one, to me, those look like modules, like the detachable modules. Because if you look at the one just next to it, it's like missing ones on the left, but it has that one on the right, and it looks like it's swappable between the two. You know what I'm saying?
What the fuck?
It's weird. It's weird and kind of cool. And so those teardrop shaped ones, I'm wondering if those, like, you could pop those out and put different modules in there to mess around, like to change the controls.
Well, there's another one. The one to the right of the triangles looks like Joy-Cons you can take out.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. That is interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of...
Aya Neo, I think, has a couple of devices that allow you to swap out.
The Aya Neo 3 has one that you can swap them out, so you can have trackpads, or so you can have joysticks, or you can even put them in upside down, so you can decide if I want to have the stick on the top or the D-pad on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, to say the least. I don't know what to make
Honestly, High Tech, you should look into this more if you haven't done a video on this, but the prototypes are really fun to do a video on.
Dude.
There's a lot.
You know what would be more fun? Getting my hands on one of these prototypes.
You know, it'd be even more fun. Honestly, that would be fun. Some of these I'd like to see how they feel, because it's really bizarre. I'd like to honestly interview a couple of the guys on these prototypes. So fascinating. I want to know.
You want to try getting Lier Pierre Lugrafy on this channel? That'd be awesome if we got.
I want to know why. Some of these are very weird, and I want to know why. Because obviously, like, they didn't have screens on some. They were trying to test out certain capabilities and features and stuff. They didn't care about the other things, obviously, and so it's interesting.
So can we go back to can we go back to the actual prototype? I want to talk about the top of the device. Yeah, you see the picture. Top? Yeah, you see the picture with can you maximize that? Yeah. So you see there are blue accent buttons. I'm not super big on this color of blue with the black. I don't really dig it. I wish it were more like a neon blue. I also see that the buttons jut out quite a bit, a lot more than they would on the actual device. There's like a whole volume. It's that volume rocker as opposed to just two buttons for the volume. And the power button sticks out quite a bit as well. But I am super curious about, is that a headphone jack?
Yeah.
That's weird. They made it almost looks like a barrel jack from what I see, but yeah, it's a headphone jack. It's weird.
I feel like I'm seeing lens distortion here, like they're using a 0.5 lens or something, because it's just everything looks compressed.
Yeah, I think this is like a wide angle, like, smartphone camera.
Yeah,
which makes everything look weird.
Yeah, he wanted to take a close up, but get everything in the picture. Yeah, I can dig it. Yeah.
But if you look at the next picture, the triggers, that one. The triggers, they look like, instead of being on the top of the device, they look almost like they're at the back of the device.
Yeah.
Am I describing it the way that you guys see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the analog triggers don't look like they have much in terms of like analog play, right? Like they look like they could be digital.
If I had,
look like Switch
I mean, if I had to guess, maybe they were testing out something like pressure sensitive triggers, because I know, the Hori controller that's they made that works with Steam input, that has pressure sensitive. Yeah, that one. I have one of those too. I ordered it from Japan. They
It has
those are
pressure sensitive triggers.
yeah, they're pressure sensitive. Like you can't like if you look in the software and test it out in Steam Input, if you look at like they have analog values that are tied to how hard you're pressing those triggers. So
Yeah, but okay, so I played a racing game with this controller and it was freaking terrible. Like you could not control how fast you were going. It felt like it was on or off.
that makes sense. Are you on the Steam Input mode or are you on the direct
Yeah.
input mode?
I'm on Steam.
So I know those have pressure sensitive because triggers because I've tried them out. And I can confirm that, and I even recorded it for my video on it. But yeah, they have pressure sensitive triggers, but that doesn't seem like something Hori would do on their own. It seems like something Valve may have like contributed to as well. So that's what I'm thinking because these don't look like they have a lot of analog, like give or take. They don't have a lot of analog range, like from what I
Yeah.
can see. But I'm guessing they tried pressure sensitive triggers for like trigger functionality. Also, I see the macro button at the bottom. I really do not like where they're placed here.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting because it looks like it almost has like the long single paddle on either side, and then also the R4, R5, L4, L5. So it looks like there might be 3 buttons there, even though on
Oh, I
each
see what you're
side. You know what I'm
saying.
saying?
Yeah.
Because like the Steam controller has a single long paddle you can hit with any of your fingers on the back, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's almost what it looks like here, but they also have R4 and R5 style buttons too. It's very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense because Valve, with Steam Input, they're trying to do as much as they possibly can to give you options to play games that weren't made for a controller.
Yeah.
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 I mean,
They still need to do the PS5. They still need to do the PS5 feedback trigger thing. Oh,
Yes, they do.
Oh, dude, that would be so awesome.
I know we've talked about that. That's so good.
Have you tried the PC stuff yet, James?
A little bit. I haven't. I want to see. I want to get it working on the Mac.
I don't know if that's gonna
What do you
happen,
mean?
man.
What PC stuff?
I have it. It's probably going to work.
Like
fine.
the DualSense features on PC. I know some games on PC, feature like they have support for some of the DualSense
like the
features.
first party Sony ones that are released on PC.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But there are
definitely.
other ones. Like there are a lot. There's a whole list of like third-party games that use the analog trigger
I
feedback.
was shocked
I
at
think
how many there were.
I think the
Yeah.
Call of Duty games support it. Like
Yep.
they have different trigger resistances for different guns that you use in the game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's also like a thing you can get on Steam that like enables support in some games that don't support it out of the box.
'Cause
So
I have the DualSense Edge. I freaking love that controller. I absolutely love it. It's so good. I mean, the battery life on it's abysmal, but I don't play for hours at a time, and I just plug it in when I'm done.
True that.
But I just assumed that 99% of the features just weren't used on PC. So I'm very interested in checking that out. Thank you guys for letting me know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, that is the case for a lot of games on PC.
Yeah.
But
but I mean, if a game is released on PS5 and it's also placed on PC, there's a decent chance that
Well-
it supports many of the features.
Half the games, no, that's not fair. 80% of the games on PS5 don't support those features.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
here's this cool feature, but Xbox doesn't support it, so we don't bother.
Right.
Like that's the thing that that drives me crazy that Xbox still doesn't have gyro.
yeah.
If they had gyro, then we would have gyro on like every freaking shooter that's available.
yeah.
Yep.
The Fortnite kids are embracing the gyro. I've seen it happen. It's crazy. And if they all the come on, Microsoft.
We got Switch mouse controllers before we got gyro on the Xbox controller.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
right.
that's crazy to think. Yeah, that's true. All the kids are going to be using mice in Splatoon, and it's going to be kind of scary because, like, the guys that were playing gyro already are really fucking good. I'm not going to lie, I'm not super great with gyro aiming. I still have to
Neither.
master it. My years of playing Halo on Xbox has not serviced me well when it comes to gyro.
Have you guys? I know that this is another aside. Have you guys tried one of these controllers yet? For the audio listeners, I'm holding up probably the weirdest controller that any of these guys has ever seen.
Oh yeah, I have one of those.
I don't know.
You have an alpaca?
I do. Yeah, mine's
Okay.
green. Mine's black and green.
Yeah. So this thing, it has one stick on the left, and then it has a scroll wheel. For the audio listeners, it has a scroll wheel on the right, and then next to that scroll wheel is this little. It's an 8-way. Well, this one's not 8-way. This one, because the original one that came out had like an 8-way square hat on it, where you could just kind of point to say, okay, if I push to the top left, that's one. This one has a few more options on this. I'm working on a video for this thing, but it's a really weird controller. And you know the coolest thing about it? 2 gyroscopes. And you might think, why the hell would I want 2 gyroscopes? They have one that's super sensitive and the other one, which is not nearly as sensitive, which means you can do really big movements and really small movements really, really well. It's fantastic, but only for certain games.
Interesting.
That looks cool.
It is.
Is that
pretty
gonna?
cool.
Do you switch between it, or is that like a game will have to support it in a fine?
No, it just reads it. When you plug this into a computer, it thinks it's a mouse and keyboard.
Okay.
So that's the one big issue with it is it's like press F and then you have to like, which friggin' button is the F button? I don't remember. You know what I mean?
Hey Bill, quick question.
Yeah.
Is your D-pad also like 4 individual buttons and not like on a pivot?
Yeah, it's 4 individual buttons.
Yeah, that's
So it's not good for fighting games.
yeah. I know that's the one thing I don't like about the controller, but it is a very unique controller. It's very cool too at that too. You can actually, it's open source as well. You can 3D print the shell, and it uses a Raspberry Pi. I forget which Raspberry Pi, but it uses that for the firmware of the controller itself.
The 0 or whatever.
i0, yeah.
Or it might be a Pico, or I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah.
All I know is that I have one of these cool. It's pretty cool. I think they use. Are these Torx screws? I think these are Torx screws that they use. You don't have.
I
to
don't know.
Torx.
It's definitely not something I could open it. It's like a little. It looks almost like Allen keys.
That is. It does look kind of like an Allen key. Yeah, it's not Torx. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, prototype Steam. I want one. Just to keep it.
My favorite part of the prototype Steam thing is on the back. It says, "Not for resale."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think Valve's gonna ask for that one back?
I wouldn't be shocked. I that's the thing. Okay, first off, how did someone get a hold of this to where they could sell it? I mean, I'm sure once they were getting to this level, they mentioned in interviews that I believe that they friends and family kind of thing tried helping test it out. Did like some family member get on hard times, need $3,000 and sell this? Like, what is going on? And then that's my first thing. And then 2, is this going to do? So if they have multiple versions, are we going to have a version that ends up in a museum? I'm kind of hoping that there's some preservation. I don't really like private ownership of stuff that's rare. I prefer to be. I'm like Indiana Jones. It needs to be in a museum.
Belongs in a museum. You got a point.
That was
That
a
was
fantastic
oh my God.
impression.
Thank you. I thought it was pretty bad.
That's really fucking good.
It was good.
I'm going to do a new Indiana Jones game. And I'll get you
All right, I'll voice it for you.
You think darkness is LA? You merely adopted it.
Gosh.
I was born in it, molded by it. Yeah, that.
So great.
Oh, Bill, I got a voice for you. They're going to
Sure.
go off the rails here. Do you know Homestar Runner?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing here, Bill? I thought this was the nerd nest.
It's pretty freaking great.
That
He
is
does a
that
really
is
good
really
job.
good.
He does a good job.
Raggy.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. All right, I'm done with my voices. I can only do like 3 voices.
I don't do voices. Every time I attempt to do it when I like in this type of situation, it always ends up being bad.
You know, the most
Okay.
talented voice like imitators can do Donald Duck voices.
That's pretty. Yeah,
That
I believe that.
I can't do Donald Duck.
I don't think any of us can, unless Bill can.
You'll never know.
Let's
What's
see, Blade Runner.
So, what's the next story?
It's Blade Runner.
yes?
Oh.
How do you type with boxing
So-
gloves on?
It's actually not about Blade Runner.
That's pretty good.
It's about the
I know it's
company
not.
that's
Yeah.
So, I don't know if
Dude,
this.
I
I don't know if this document.
have ad block on. I don't know why these ads are popping up, but whatever. Okay.
So I don't know if this article actually has the Elon Musk AI generated picture. But so basically, what happened was that Elon Musk, for a promotional picture for the next Tesla, generated an AI picture, and it looks strikingly similar to this, minus the car.
Yeah, because AI is just stealing people's work.
Yes, and that's the story
Yeah.
here. Alcon Entertainment, the guys that produced Blade Runner 2049, is suing Elon Musk and Tesla for copyright infringement and trademark infringement. So they lost the trademark claims. That was tossed out of court, but the copyright infringement case is free to move forward. And that's the story. They dismissed the trademark claim as it was working off of quote unquote information and belief, as per the judge. But thanks to that, they can move forward with copyright infringement, which is arguably the more important lawsuit that needs to be pursued.
I have two opinions on this. Number one, Elon Musk is a douchebag, and anything that hurts him is okay with me as long as it's not like physical harm. But at the same time, I mean, it's a picture of a wasteland that happens to be orange.
Yeah.
I
There's
think
a
it's-
lot of ways that you
yeah.
can come up with that and not have it have anything to do with Blade Runner. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I understand. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, though, if you've seen the picture in the document, right, Bill?
I mean, I scrolled down, I can see the two pictures. There's one with a car and then one with a guy standing with a trench coat on, with no car.
Yeah, I mean,
Are these
yeah.
the two pictures that we're supposed to be looking at?
yeah. So I get what you're saying. It's an orange wasteland, but at the same time, though, they didn't have to make it look strikingly similar to this shot in particular, minus the car. I'd rather have
Yeah, I don't
that
know.
Blade Runner car, to be honest. It looks pretty cool. It also opens up like upwards like a Lamborghini. So yeah, that's the picture right there. So
That's the generated one. Yeah.
yeah, so
Ugh.
I think this is objectively a good thing. That the lawsuit can move forward in terms of copyright. Because I mean, the main reason why the trademark failed was because there wasn't like a Blade Runner logo on this picture. So that's probably why that's most likely why it failed. But the visuals, and it has been confirmed that this is AI being used. So it's not
Yeah.
like some artist made a picture that looks like Blade Runner. It's an AI that did it. So it's gonna
Which,
be
you know, their AI just steals. My question here, if you look at that picture that's on screen right now, what does that have to do with Tesla?
Yeah.
What does that have to do with freaking cars? It's just showing like a hellscape, a cityscape that's, covered in orange dust. What does that have to do with cars?
Probably Mars, related to Mars.
I was gonna say.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
He
Now I
he
understand.
he has a big fast, and I used to like that he did, but he's lost the plot.
honestly, I don't mind if he moves to Mars. Let him have Mars. What I mean, he's not gonna do any harm there in Mars.
You need to watch The Expanse, man. Wars happen. That's a good sci-fi show, by the way. Everyone should watch The Expanse. Yeah, it's car commercials. Commercials, period, can be so bizarre, right? Sometimes. So I get where he's going, but the whole AI training thing that's going on, where it uses existing art, copyrighted art, just so much to train it to then be able to create new pieces of art is troubling, because the people that are not getting paid for it. Now there's some ethical, like it was interesting. Recently I was contacted by a company that wanted to process a bunch of my YouTube videos for payment
Same.
to train
Got
an
that
AI.
same email.
Same here.
Yeah. And so it's like, well, it's a little bit more ethical, but I don't know to trust or anything like that. But it's like, at least they're asking, and paying for it. That's
You said
much
no,
more.
I hope.
What's that?
You said no, I hope.
I have not responded. I
Okay,
was
good. Yeah, I
I'm
wouldn't
not going to do
respond.
it. I'm too lazy.
They'll end
What
up
you should
owning
do
your
is
shit.
you should accept, but you should make like 1,000 really shitty videos where it's just you saying a single like letter, and then it trains off of that instead of your good shit, and then you sabotage their AI, and they pay you for it.
My videos probably aren't worth much, but if I did, I'd be like, okay, I have to have a big payday.
Cash
If I'm going
first.
to sell out, cash out, so I can become a publisher and go to C-level exec route as a business owner.
You can publish Gardner.
And then
You can
we'll all
publish
make fun of
Gardner's
you
next
on
game.
podcast.
I'll be wiping my tears off with cash. Like, oh, they're making fun of me.
Yeah, man. Just don't pretend to play
Just-
Path of Exile 2, and also don't pretend to play it on stream.
It's okay. I don't think I'd play that. I have other games I'd rather play.
That's a
You
good
know-
game, though.
I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's not a
Just
bad
letting
game.
you know.
But
You know, at first I was kind of wondering why they didn't ban Elon Musk, because I mean, if they were any other person, they would have banned him for account sharing. But at the same time, though, watching Elon Musk's like getting obliterated by like a tutorial boss in Path of Exile 2, I think it was worth keeping his account around. And also, he was getting.
I think
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think it's a good thing that they didn't ban him because he would have retaliated by buying them and then ruining the game.
oh my
Oh
gosh,
no.
probably true.
Oh, speaking of
No,
speaking
You
of
don't.
which,
You don't. Sorry, you don't ban your cash cow. Like your like well. That's what the term is. You don't ban your wells. Like he's a well. They make
Yeah.
a lot of money off of him. So
Yeah, so here's the thing. So he's also been getting a lot of whispers from guys usernamed Elon _is_a_ pedophile, and then the guy spamming his DMs in Path of Exile 2. You have no real friends and will die alone, and you can see Elon's face as like he sees the message in his private jet. And on one hand, harassment is not okay.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But on the other hand, I don't feel sorry for Elon. But
I don't feel sorry for him, but I think that stooping to his
Yeah.
level is.
I don't like
No.
harassment, but at least do something on point. Like, hey, stop meddling in the government or whatever else you want to do. Like, at least have a pointed message that bothers him a little bit. That's not just because he has plenty you can complain about. But yeah, oh well.
Yeah, harassment is not okay. Off the console
Yeah.
does not condone harassment, and I think I speak for all of us, right?
Yes.
But yeah, Blade Runner 2049 is a really good movie. You should watch it. Support the auteurs that made it.
Yeah,
I-
Denny
Oh,
Villeneuve.
I just realized High Tech has an orange background. You're freaking cooked, man.
You know, this used
That
to be.
is-
You know, this used to be a blue background. Actually, Oh shit!
Did it?
It
I don't
did.
know if I've ever seen it blue.
I don't remember it being blue.
It wasn't ever blue for you guys, but it's that
Oh.
the actual image itself is blue. Oh boy, and it looks like you're getting ready for the next topic.
I am.
Yes, Switch
Wha-
2.
What? Yes. What is this high tech?
So there's a lot more Switch 2 shenanigans. Last week, Bill, you missed it, but last week was Nintendo Week, baby. All the topics.
Oh, I didn't miss it.
Oh yeah, but so there's a lot that's been announced since that week. Quite a few things. First and foremost, we don't know if I think Nintendo has since confirmed that Switch 2 editions of Switch 1 games will be in like all in one cartridge. Or at least that's what one source says. Another source says that it'll just be the Switch 1 cartridge and a download code for the upgrade pack, which sucks.
So that was from somebody getting a hold of Nintendo support, and then the other one, the first one that you said where it is on the cartridge, was from a Nintendo spokesperson. So I would trust the one that says that it has this stuff on the cartridge.
Yeah, so we don't have to worry about that point anymore, which is good. That said, Breath of the Wild Switch 2 edition does not come with the DLC for Breath of the Wild. You still have to buy that separately, and I don't know how much that costs now.
That's crazy.
It's 20. I think it's $20.
So so if you were buying Breath of the Wild for the first time, that's like effectively a $90 video game.
I don't like
Yeah,
I actually DLCs are difficult because if I beat the game before the DLC comes out, there's a good chance I might not play that DLC ever.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I like to wait for complete editions to then play the game. Then I'll play it with the DLC, but
Come on now.
Yeah.
I don't think Nintendo's ever
Exactly.
made a complete edition of a single video game ever.
What do you mean?
Did they not do that?
Yeah, they did. Like when Mario Kart 8 was originally a Wii U game. Then when it came to the Switch, it included all of the DLC that you could have purchased on the Wii U.
What I'm saying is, we didn't get a Mario Kart 8 DX Complete edition where it included all the DLC that we got on the Switch, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, like Smash Bros. Ultimate, for example, has a shit ton of DLC, and that's like one of the, like, fighting games are pretty popular because they do re-release the games with DLC, and yeah, Smash never got that treatment, of course. Nintendo games don't tend to get this treatment. The Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is kind of a weird situation because that was a port.
Yeah. I don't touch games like that very often. Like I like playing those types of games, but I don't get the DLCs typically because they're just scattered everywhere. It's a mess. I don't like it.
Yeah. Another Nintendo controversy was due to the fact that Nintendo, I think it was Doug Bowser that said that they understand that the Switch 2 may be priced too high for certain consumers. That's why they're keeping the Switch available for the poor people. And you know what that reminds me of? Oh, god damn it.
Is this it? What's wrong?
Sorry, the garage.
I think the
opening.
garage door was opening.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Oh, this is gonna be a fun edit.
Yeah.
It's gonna be such a fun edit for me.
Yeah, good
Just
luck.
leave it in and then sell T-shirts with a garage door opener on it.
All right. So back to the topic at hand. Doug Bowser said that the Switch 1 is still available for families that can't afford the Switch 2, which doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm not saying it doesn't make any sense. What I'm saying is, all I'm getting is Don Matrick vibes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love that moment when Jeff Keighley is like, so your message is stick with the Xbox 360? And he's like, well, no, that's not my message. And I wish someone had called him on it right there.
Doug Bowser or...
Doug Bowser, yeah.
Well, I mean, the problem is that we're not dealing with Microsoft. We're dealing with fucking Nintendo, and people are okay with Nintendo doing whatever they want, apparently. Power World lawsuit? No big deal. The Joy-Con drift? No big deal. And, I mean, shit, man. The Switch 2, I mean, the Joy-Con 2s, they're not getting analog. They're not getting Hall effect sticks. And one has to wonder if it's even possible given, the Switch 2's magnetic functionality.
Right. Yeah. That's something I didn't think of when I was thinking about it. But when you get the Switch 2 and it snaps on the side because of the magnets. If you have a Hall effect, if you have a magnetic joystick here, that doesn't make any, like, it wouldn't. I don't think it could work. Is there a way to shield it? You can shield electronics, but not magnets.
Hell, a lot of shielding. You can shield stuff, but I don't know how much it'd be worth it, especially with that strong of a magnet.
I don't think you could fit it in, like, a Joy-Con 2 chassis, to be honest.
I feel like if you put, like, something in there that was magnetic or ferrous in any way, it would end up becoming magnetic over time.
Right. I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, so
that means no Hall effect, no TMR.
That's right. You'd have to come up with some sort of newfangled analog stick technology.
So are these just
They're
I was gonna say, are these
potentiometers.
just potentiometers? Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
have to
but
be.
Nintendo says that they made it with more durable materials.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I might be the outlier here. It doesn't matter that much. I don't know. Like, I know they've had issues with the Switch 1, but that was, they remedied that. Unless you're playing like
have they remedied
an
it?
exorbitant amount on the controller and putting a lot of stress on it, like, I don't typically have issues with stick drift with my controllers unless my kids get a hold of it and like do some damage. And I don't even know I don't know.
I mean, to be honest,
I'm very nice to my controllers, and I did get drift on one of my I think it was my right Joy-Con on the Nintendo Switch. The one advantage, like if I had drift on my Steam Deck or on my ROG Ally or any of those other devices, that would be bad. That would be real bad because this is a whole freaking device. At least with a Switch and a Switch 2, you could take the Joy-Con off and just say, I'm going to mail this to Nintendo, and in the meantime, I could put another one on there and be fine. So there is a good thing about the controllers being separatable from the main device.
Well, and that makes it even easier to replace the joysticks on it. Like I might be an outlier here, but I've replaced multiple joysticks on switches because of my kids, and then also Steam Deck. I've never had problems actually with the original Steam Deck controllers or joysticks, but I've had actually issues with the Hall Effect ones. And so
yeah, the first Gold
I will
Kit
say,
ones,
go ahead.
the first Gold Kit ones weren't that great. I think they locked into like specific areas in the stick. I don't know that
they've improved it. I've used the newer ones, but still, for people that really like, it does like precision, some other stuff, it does get a little better. For people where that matters, I think it's worth the upgrade. But for I think most people will not really notice, and it's not really worth it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think Hall Effect is just better, and that's not necessarily the case. Hall Effect is different and less likely to experience drift, but it doesn't necessarily make it better. I think it has to do with what kind of materials go into the process of building these things. And if you pick cheap, shitty materials and make a Hall Effect controller, you get a shitty Hall Effect controller. And if you pick nice materials and build a potentiometer controller, then you'll have a nice potentiometer controller. It's not necessarily that one is better than the other, in my opinion.
Hall Effects also use up more power too. That's part of why TMR sticks exist, because TMR it uses less power than Hall Effect sticks.
I didn't realize they used the
No, I don't think they use so much power that it'll like have your Steam Deck's battery life, but I think it just does use more power intrinsically.
No, that is interesting. The Hall Effect, I'll say this: Hall Effect, if you want to avoid stick drift, go for it. Hall Effect all the way. But I rarely experience it, and I'm at this point where I can just replace a joystick if I have to. And that's usually due to kids because they're really rough on those sticks.
Yeah,
I will say replacing the stick in the Steam Deck or other more modular devices like that, much easier than in the Switch. I took a Joy-Con apart once.
Oh no.
Could not get it back together.
Oh no. No, Bill, no.
I was like, it's just so small and my hands are too big and I couldn't get it to go back together. So I eventually just threw it in the trash.
Oh no. You should have.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
no.
definitely, they don't make it too easy. I've replaced a few. And I could definitely tell you, like, to get it back together, it can take a little bit for sure.
Yeah, you got to have
keep track of
everything in exactly the right position, and then you can close it up. I could not get it to close.
Yeah.
Just treat that one as a practice one. You just toss it and like, oh, this is a practice, and go to the next one.
And then break that one, and then just keep practicing until you get one together.
You'll eventually get there.
I'll just buy a new controller.
All right.
Or
Well, you're
send
gonna
it
have
into
to throw it
Nintendo to
away.
get rid of
Yeah, if you don't have enough controllers, you have to buy one anyway. So.
Yeah, I can reach right now. I can reach like 12 controllers. There's plenty in here.
Yeah. So one more thing too: the Switch 2 will not come with a system-wide achievement system. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, that's not surprising.
So weird. Achievement systems are really fun, and they're already being done on everything else. So why not? Like, it's a easy win to just include that system that can integrate with and be more compatible maybe with other systems. It's just an easy win. Like, I like knowing that I can 100% the games I love. I don't usually do it, but it's a few games I will do it.
Yeah, like honestly, the main reason why I'm even trying to 100% Balatro is because they're tied to achievements. And
I know that I'm a
is?
weirdo, and I do not give a shit about achievements. When I play a game on my Xbox and I get that stupid pop-up saying, "Hey, you just earned an achievement," I find it annoying. I never go and try and do achievements. My son does. He thinks that trophies and achievements are cool. I know that I am the minority here. I don't care about achievements. I still think Nintendo should do it because a lot of people do care about it. But the Switch is a weird thing because the Switch is not always online. An Xbox and a PlayStation, they're almost always connected to the internet. And I wonder if Nintendo is thinking, we can't guarantee that these achievements aren't going to be like, you'll do something in the game and maybe it won't be able to issue the achievement because it's not connected to the internet, or maybe people will game the system and get achievements that they didn't really deserve. Not that anybody gives a damn, but maybe that's a reason why.
I mean, if
I
you
think
take
it's pure laziness.
I mean, if you take the Steam Deck offline, you still get achievements, and it still properly documents when you got it. I think
fair.
It's been a while.
There's ways to do it. It's they have so many examples that it would be very low effort. I just don't think they want, like, Nintendo does not do live services and do certain services very well. Like their subscription service, all their subscriptions are just garbage in my opinion. And so it definitely looks like Switch 2 will have better services. Like if you watched the reveal of Switch 2 or whatever it was last week, their Discord like chat was kind of,
I thought it was Discord.
Yeah,
I kind of thought
it
was too. Yeah. I don't actually, and here's the thing, I actually don't mind how they're doing it because it's such a step up above of what they already have. Like it's so much better, but it is, they just, what they charge for doesn't feel like you get what you should out of it.
Yeah.
They charge too much.
So I will say this, whenever you see a new game release on Steam without achievements, like, I guarantee you, one of the first things people will ask for is achievements. So the demand for achievements are there. I would like to know why Nintendo doesn't do it, because at this point it can't be like they're just behind the times thing, because they basically fucking implemented Discord, but like a bootleg Discord. So I'd like to know what the philosophy is behind them not implementing it.
What, Discord or
achievements?
Oh, achievements. Oh, jeez, I'm all over it. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, I think it's laziness. I think it's partially like their whole live services, all that stuff, except for their new video chat, actually doesn't feel like it's laziness. But everything else feels like just that they didn't care about it. They did not give it the time of day.
Yeah, but what's weird though is that quite a few games that Nintendo develops and publishes have like little in-game achievement systems in the game itself, like not tied to the system, of course. Which I do find if they're gonna do that, why not implement it system wide? I bet you it would save on game storage or whatever. I don't know.
They must not have very good inner team communication, or when you get into big companies like this, how things work, if you don't have a good cohesive system for inner, especially systems that would touch each other, if you don't do a lot of meetings and design meetings and design the systems out along with the developers, that you end up with stuff like this. Personally, like, it's,
God damn it, Nintendo.
Yeah.
So
maybe eventually they'll implement it. Who knows? Maybe that'll be a system down the road. Like, it doesn't have to be. They could easily. It's a software system, the thing, so they could easily implement it, not tied to Switch 2, but like a year down the road.
Yeah.
As an update.
So, also one last thing too. This is kind of a small point. They're still making Switch 2 cartridges taste bad, which I do agree with, because kids will put that shit in their mouth for some reason. The latest TikTok challenge, putting Switch cartridges in your mouth.
The latest? No, they already did that. I've
I'm
had
sorry.
my son lick the cartridge, and it was when he was little, and he knows not to ever eat or try to eat that.
Good on Nintendo
cartridge,
for
so.
that. Now,
That's a good idea. They should do that with micro SD cards too.
Yeah. You can
know,
also
like-
probably get a spray for it too. Like get some of that dog spray. I'm sure they
oh yeah,
prevent it
speaking
from
of which,
chewing on stuff.
speaking of which, one thing I do like about the Switch 2 is the fact that they're forcing micro SD Express, which is the hot. So for those who don't know, it's a faster version of the micro SD card, and the fact that Nintendo is forcing it means that more of these will be made, which in turn means that hopefully they'll be cheaper in the long run, and that we'll get support for micro SD Express and I don't know, the Steam Deck 2 or something.
Yeah. Micro SD Express is faster than SATA drives.
Wow,
Like,
I did
yeah.
not know that. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't have anything else to say about Nintendo. I think it's too expensive
No. We need to get to your favorite topic.
though. Balatro!
Balatro.
So, Balatro, the reason why I probably can't stream Balatro videos is because Balatro videos on YouTube are being age restricted. And Local Thunk is not happy. So, they're being marked as 18 plus because of gambling. The fact that Balatro is gambling themed is it's definitely drawing some. It's definitely exposing some of these companies for just looking at cards and just saying, "Oh, it's gambling." And okay, it features real poker hands, but it also features fake poker hands like five of a kinds, or flush fives, or flush house, and tarot cards, which are definitely not real poker cards. I don't know, man. It's a weird situation that Balatro's put itself into, and I will bat for Balatro any day of the week because it's such a good game.
If they can have gambling themes in like a casino themed level in a Astrobot, and that can be rated everyone, I don't know why they can't just do. The Balatro doesn't even have that really.
Well, you see, the problem with pointing that out is that they did that. This was a couple of years ago, but they pointed out that the NBA games literally had a slot machine for their gacha system for the 2K.
For their My Team or whatever it's called.
Yeah, and then people kept pointing out that Pokemon had a slot machine back in the day, Red and Blue, Pokemon Red and Blue, and you know what Australia did? They rated Pokemon fucking 18 plus because of the gambling systems. They retroactively changed it. And they didn't change the fucking rating for the NBA game, which is insane to me.
Yeah. I mean, even Mario Bros. 3 had slot machine mechanics. Even Super Mario Bros. 2 had slot machine mechanics.
Dude, you can't have slot machines in video games anymore, dude.
No.
I would like to see some data behind this. Honestly, I want to have them do a wide survey to really see what games they played in the past that would and if they have an issue or an addiction to gambling. Because I do think it's a major once you're addicted to gambling, it can really fuck you up.
Hey guys, but yeah, I don't agree with what YouTube is saying. I mean, I might be a little biased because I like Balatro, but at the same time, though, I mean, it's not really a gambling game. There's no outside of there being poker hands, there is no mechanic where you can actually gamble money. I'll admit, in the Pokemon Red and Blue games, you can certainly gamble money. You can exchange for tokens, and then you would gamble those tokens, which I guess is textbook definition gambling, which means Pokemon has more gambling mechanics than Balatro, which is kind of funny to think about.
Yeah, I think he had a good point in that quote that you put in there, High Tech.
Apparently, Balatro videos are being rated 18 plus on YouTube now for gambling. Good thing we are protecting children from knowing what a 4 of a kind is and letting them watch CS case opening videos instead.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think all forms of gambling should be rated I mean, even if it doesn't have like that veneer of like traditional gambling, which I would say that's kind of what Balatro falls under. I think that like if there's actual prizes you win by luck based mechanics, I think that they should be rated like 18 plus. But as far as Balatro on YouTube, I think it's completely inoffensive. I think Balatro is completely inoffensive, and I think it's annoying that YouTube is doing that to this game.
Well, first it was Australia, then it was Europe, now it's YouTube.
Yeah.
Again, people who make decisions don't know what they're making decisions about. That's what it is. They saw cards and they said, gambling. Well, guess what? Solitaire. You can literally play solitaire in a friggin' casino for money.
What?
Is solitaire? Yeah.
No way. I'm good at solitaire. I'm good at card games.
Okay.
no.
Well, I just ruined High Tech Lowlife's life.
That's not true. My life was already ruined.
Well,
I'm
on a previous episode, we also established that High Tech is a card counter, and he's not welcome in many casinos across the United States. So,
yeah, that's how I paid for my college textbooks. I gambled money.
right.
Indian reservation casinos let you gamble at 18. The difference is they don't serve
Right.
you free alcohol, unlike in Vegas. So 58% of PC gaming revenue came from microtransactions. I mean, I don't know what more to say. It's $24.4 billion.
Just
I know
for
what to say about
microtransactions?
this.
Yes.
Here's what you say about this. People who keep saying how much they hate microtransactions, I think that they're liars.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I think that it's like it's hypocritical, right? It's like I know a lot of people who say that they hate it and then they go and buy the microtransactions.
Yeah.
So it's like, what do you do about that if you know something's bad for you and you keep doing it? What do you do about that? Right? Some people are like, "Oh, we can't do anything about it." But there are solutions, like elect people who know what they're doing and make good decisions
And stop buying
our
horse
society.
armor.
Yeah, stop buying horse armor.
Hey, at least that's useful.
Gamers are not very disciplined and honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a gaming boycott succeed. Like I remember a couple of years ago there was a huge boycott for Hogwarts Legacy. Primarily because of J.K. Rowling, and that didn't succeed, of course. And
That's a really hard one because the studio that makes it is actually here in Salt Lake, and they're a fairly progressive studio, meaning you're just you're hurting developers that are actually fairly progressive and was kind of injecting a little bit of more progressive stuff into the game, whether people like that or not. And so it's really hard with these boycotts, whether or not you should do it based off of the main person, or if they've created something bigger than themselves, like Lucas Arts, or the Lucas Arts Studios games. Or even movies have gone beyond.
George
what's
Lucas
his face
himself.
Yeah,
and I mean, to be fair, the boycott didn't succeed either. It's a hugely successful game that's also coming to Switch too, by the way.
But they canceled its DLC.
They did
It's
cancel.
so stupid.
Yeah, because they're shifting towards their microtransaction strategy for some reason.
Yeah.
There's also the fact. There's also a couple years ago. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but there was a group on Steam like a very long time ago. This was back when Modern Warfare 2, the original, was coming out. They announced that they wouldn't have dedicated servers, which at the time was unheard of on a PC game. And so there was a boycott Modern Warfare 2 group that they said they would boycott it because there were no dedicated servers. Well, James, if you look that up, you'll see. If you look it up, you'll see the group. And guess what game most of the people in that group are playing?
I don't know what to look up, but yeah,
Modern Warfare 2.
Wait,
It's
what?
Hold on.
Send me a link. Okay, send me a link if you want me to throw it up. I'm not gonna.
Yeah. I'll do that. I'll send you the link right here.
I'm not Jamie from Joe Rogan's thing.
There you go. It's
Jamie, throw that up.
It's in the
or
Discord.
whatever his name is. Okay.
It's a Reddit link.
Let's see.
That's pretty funny.
So I don't think there's been a single video game boycott that's actually succeeded. And I think they recently tried to boycott Assassin's Creed Shadows, which I don't actually know if that's been successful or not.
I mean, I'm not talking about boycotting though. Like, I think we need legislation that actually regulates predatory industry activities.
Oh yeah,
frankly.
I understand because the gamers aren't gonna fucking do it.
Right.
So yeah, this is an image from several years ago. Like Steam doesn't look like this anymore.
Yeah. Modern Warfare 2 was wasn't it like 20 years ago, for God's sakes?
It was almost 20 years ago. Shit.
It's coming up there. That's
2009.
makes me feel so old.
Yeah.
So a successful, I've been looking, this is another reason I was trying to look something else up. Star Wars Battlefront 2, the newer version, there was a boycott and a huge outcry there, and actually did cause some major problems with their sales.
Yeah.
And
it
did affect stuff with it. It is one of the there's a few times where it's actually helped. I think Fallout 76 also had a little bit of like an outcry. I don't know if there was really so much of it, just didn't do well because people didn't want to buy it because it came out bad. But Battlefront 2 they had so many microtransactions that I think they went back to it eventually, but they were microtransaction out the hell out of that thing.
Well, not just that, but the microtransactions that they had planned also affected gameplay. It wasn't just playing dress up. I have zero problem with people paying money to play dress up if that's what they want to do in order to 100%. Enjoy their game more. If it doesn't affect gameplay, fine, go ahead. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. Go nuts. Walk around as Darth Vader in Fortnite if that's what you want to do. I don't care.
Or Hatsune Miku.
I only don't like it when they affect gameplay. And the ones that they had planned for Battlefront 2 did affect gameplay. They took all those out, and that game was freaking great. It was really, really fun.
On the topic of Battlefront 2, this actually just came up just now. The game on PC is quote unquote completely unplayable thanks to hackers on PC. I hate hackers and cheaters. They're the reason why you can't play fucking Destiny 2 on Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I guess Fortnite if that's more your jam. Or Apex Legends. Shit, man. Remember when Apex Legends used to be Steam Deck supported?
Yeah.
And then they cited the mythical Linux cheaters. They're so good at cheating on Linux that they ruined the game for Linux players.
Yeah.
Once the Steam Deck and SteamOS is going to continue to get more traction. Once it gets a certain point, they'll figure it out. I think it's a money / excuse for them to just not have to spend any resources on it. It will eventually come back. And that's why it's additionally important to install as SteamOS gets better and more supported, and hopefully NVIDIA gets its shit together on that. So Steam will do surveys like once or twice a year on your hardware. The more that we do that survey with Steam hardware, the more likely that it will show that the percentages go up of people using it. That will indicate to the industry to start supporting it more, in my opinion. There'll be a point where it will happen. So, yeah. So 58% of games, PC game revenue came from microtransactions. Now, here's my take on this. This is a very big statement, and if you actually dissect this down into, I bet you into what games they were, very different, and you're gonna get executives that see that and like, well, we should just only go into microtransactions. Well, a lot of those games are very unique to their space. And like live service games in the like just the past year, so many have failed because people only have so much time to spend on these types of games, especially the ones that have microtransactions. Careful executives, like what you need more data than this. If you dive into successes of like indie or individualistic games that are not aligned with this, I think you'd be shocked that actually there's a lot of success there too. Hearthstone, GTA 5, is it live or whatever it is? Like, there are a lot of games where they make a lot of money off of microtransactions, like a filthy amount, but they are very specific, and it's very hard to get into those niches and into those realms to make that money.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, at this point, all the most successful PC games are already entrenched, and you're gonna have a really hard time pulling people away from them. I mean, Marvel did it last year, but that was kind of a big outlier. I know Rich still plays. I don't know if he still plays Marvel Rivals, but for a while he was just grinding the hell out of that. As was I.
Well, here's the thing with that too: is they fired, didn't they? They laid off, I think, like a big portion of that team.
No, it was
a support. It was part of their support team.
It was a support team. I thought they laid off more than that, but okay, yeah. So if it's just a support,
my understanding is that they laid off people who like were hired to do this. They did this, and then they were like, "All right, see ya." And that's just my understanding. I could be wrong about that.
Okay, I could be wrong too. I swear that they laid off some developers too, along with that. But I'm not going to go any further onto that and try to say they did. But it's still crazy that how successful a game like that can be and how much money it makes. Mm-hmm. But they did break out into it, so there's definitely ways to do it. Just don't sacrifice everything else, is what I'm saying to the industry. Don't sacrifice really good IPs by either morphing them into something they're not to get these microtransactions, or really that's it. Don't fuck up your IP.
Microtransactions.
Like Suicide Squad.
Man, I don't understand why WB is pushing the Suicide Squad IP so hard. Okay, like first we had the Suicide Squad movie, the first one with Will Smith and Margot Robbie. That one was terrible. And then they made the second one with James Gunn as the director, and that one was pretty decent. And then, but then they made the Suicide Squad game, and like, I don't think a single person wanted a Suicide Squad video game. I can't think of a single person that wanted.
I wanted it
before they announced it.
I wanted it. It looked cool, but they fucked it up.
They did. I mean, here's the thing too. Like, I could believe Deadshot and Harley Quinn using guns, but like, come on, Captain Boomerang, King Shark using guns? They should be like throwing boomerangs and just eating people. That's like their thing.
Yeah. It just wasn't done right, honestly. If they would have, I don't know how they could have done it, but they could have done it. But yeah. Anything else, or should we wrap this up?
I don't really have much more to say, to be honest.
I don't either.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to get into the realm of we've beat the hell out of this topic because we've talked about it before. But yeah, screw microtransactions. But I mean, if you enjoy them, if you enjoy buying like skins and stuff like that, I'm with Bill on this. I don't mind it too much, but don't affect the gameplay.
Yeah, don't let someone tell you that you can't buy the Hatsune Miku skin on Fortnite. Buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
do it. It's your money, man. Yeah, like it's your money.
There's some absolutists that are like, you can't do any microtransactions. Like, what? I'm like, just do what you want, man. But at the same time, know what you're supporting. Like, I don't get microtransactions out of just pure, I'm going to use this a little bit and that's it. Why should I buy this? So, But
Yeah, I
might be
agree.
aging
Sometimes
out of
I
that
have
type of
bought
thing, too.
cosmetic microtransactions in the past only because I have when I have played a game and I'm like, man, I have put so many hours into this game and I paid $0 fucking dollars for this game. I don't mind throwing a little money at them in order to have my character look a little bit different. I'm not against it. That's the thing.
Oh,
I just don't want it to
If
affect
it's
gameplay.
a free model, 100%, I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want to support the developers, go for it. It's when they start doing this, like, let's say games are coming out at $80 now, and then it's like, okay, well, if you want to get any extra stuff, you think that would come with pretty much everything. But then they're going to be like, well, if you want to get these extra little things, you have to buy them. That's where I start to have a little bit of issues. But
Or you buy the $100 version, the gold edition.
Fine with that too. Give me everything.
Dude, buy the version that gives you early access for like a week. Yeah, that'll really show them.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Well, Bill, anything else you have to say on this, or anything you want to shout out at the end of this to kind of promote?
No, it's just you can find my stuff over at Nerd Nests, wherever Nerd Nests are found.
Yeah, and we'll link it in the description down below.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Thanks for having me on, guys. It was fun.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for joining
That
us.
was great. Great having a sports announcer on. That's what you do, right? You do sports announcing. That's your day job.
I'm an earth science teacher.
No, I know you're a teacher, which is awesome. Okay.
That is pretty awesome.
It really is. Okay. Well, everyone, say goodbye, and we're out of here.
Thanks for watching.
All right, take care, man.
Goodbye. We're out of here.
Later, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, do whatever you need to do. Peace out.